Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners took game one of their series against the Yankees in a pitcher's duel, 2-1 on the game-winning single from Cal Raleigh, who comes up after getting the night off for most of the night. So he gets thrown into the game, comes up with the game winner. They look to repeat that tonight in some way, shape, or form. When they send Logan Gilbert to the hill in game two, he faces off against Max Fried. You can catch it all right here starting at 5:30 with the pregame show, 6:40 first pitch. Seattle Sports on 710.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. Happy Tuesday to everybody out there on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Mariners get a big win last night over the hated Yankees. The sun is shining. Mike Lefkoe in for Dave Wyman. We got a big show coming your way. We got Brady Henderson joining us at 3 p.m. We'll talk some Seahawks with him. Ryan Divish of the Seattle Times joins us at 4 p.m. to talk some Mariner baseball, and it is Tuesday, which means El Hombre. Michael Bradley joins us at 5 p.m. for his weekly conversation. Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. You want to weigh in on the Mariners? You want to weigh in on the big news today that they signed Colt Emerson to a record deal for a player that has yet to make his major league debut. An 8-year, $95 million contract extension, a full no-trade clause, escalators that can bring it up to $130 million, a ninth-year club option. And if all of that happens, he'll be a free agent at the age of 29 years old, in his athletic prime. Absolutely huge deal for him. Mariners have done this before. We saw it with Evan White. They reportedly tried to do that with Jared Kelnick, and his reps declined. He's probably wishing he did at this point, but we've seen him do that. They did it very early with Julio, but he had made his major league debut, obviously, with Cal as well. But huge move, which, interestingly enough, Mike, I hadn't heard a whisper about, not even a rumor that they were trying to do this, which is pretty good. Usually you hear about things. Like you hear little whispers about, yeah, they're talking to so-and-so, or, yeah, this is going on, that's going on. Doesn't make it to the air, obviously, but I didn't hear a peep about this.
It was certainly not the contract that we thought might get done in spring training or certainly early on in the season. And I know there is some puzzling thoughts about, well, what does that mean for the rotation and guys like Logan Gilbert and Brian Wu? And I know those are still being worked on. But, yeah, the timing is great. I think Jeff Passan weighed in on it. We'll talk to Ryan Divish as well. It sounds like this happened because both sides wanted to get it done. And everything that you just outlined, how do you not look at it as a win-win for both sides? Colt Emerson, as you said, free agent still, as he's just about to turn 30. The Mariners get him for at least 8 seasons, and then if they want, they get him for a 9th. So to have your future, a guy that you're so optimistic about, that everyone raves about, number 4 overall prospect in a lot of projections, your top prospect, he's here for the future, and you get him at a very good price. Think about what that could be. If he projects into everything that he could become, free agent market, Colt Emerson, would be nothing close to what you just got him for. Approximately, $12 million a year? For a guy that you expect to be a major part of this organization.
Yeah, I mean, there are going to be a lot of people that would be on his side going, why would you do that? Bet on yourself, because the market says if you're going to be the star, you're going to be making triple that every year, and you're selling yourself short. But you could look at Evan White and go, great job, man. Great job by you, because injuries got to him. His career never really went anywhere. He's done. He signed, I think it was only $24 million deal at the time, but still huge money for a guy who hadn't done anything at the major league level. And this is life-changing money. This is money that should last you the rest of your life if he never makes another dollar outside of this contract. You should be set for life in a very comfortable fashion. If he's a complete bust, he's set for life. And again, gets a chance to hit the free agent market. And who knows what that market looks like when he's 29 years old. 9 years from now, What are contract? Are they going to be multi? I mean, we're already seeing contracts approach $1 billion, whether you're looking at Shohei Ohtani, whether you're looking at, Soto and some of these deals. It's going to be over $1 billion, those contracts.
Yeah, I mean, Colt Emerson could still make $60 million a year on this next contract. We don't have to worry about that. He's here for his prime, but also with the way hitters have extended their MLB careers, you could get good years well into your early to mid-30s. I mean, Kyle Tucker is 29 right now, and he just signed that massive deal in the offseason. So Colt Emerson will be around that same age. It's a win for all sides. The reasons that you outlined for why someone would do it, there's risk. Hey, he might not develop into a superstar caliber, the best shortstop in baseball. He could just be a good to average player. And then the Mariners have him, and Colt Emerson has some security. And you can sign for less if you want to be somewhere. Cal Raleigh could have tested for whatever he wanted. He signed last offseason, and he put himself down here, and he said, look, I want to be here. I want to be part of this team. Certainly, this means that Colt Emerson wants to be here. It could have been a protracted, drawn-out process. Kelnick is the obvious example. Didn't want to sign, didn't want to commit, didn't pay off for him. Colt Emerson wants to be here. Life-changing money, as you mentioned, and now they can focus on the business of getting him up to the majors and winning baseball games and winning a World Series.
Yeah, you guys can text in on this, 866-979-3776. What do you think of the deal? You like it? You think it's too aggressive by the Mariners for somebody who's yet to step on a major league field in a real game, in a game that counts? We don't know what he's going to be. They project, that's all this is, and he looked great in spring, but we've seen that from other players. Just playing devil's advocate, I think he's going to be a very good player. And I like this deal a lot. But it is a risk. The Mariners got burned by it before with Evan White. So there is a risk attached to this. You never know. He may not turn into the player they think. Maybe he's really average. I don't know. It doesn't seem that way, but it is a gamble on both sides. They both represent a gamble, even though you're guaranteed almost $100 million. Doesn't seem like a huge gamble. It's I love the deal, but what do you guys think, Mariner fans? You like that deal, that commitment to a guy who has yet to step onto the field? 866-979-3776. You mentioned Jeff Passan. He was on with Brock and Salk this morning and talked about why the Mariners would do a contract like this right now for Emerson.
The idea is very simple, guys. Free agent years are incredibly valuable, especially when those free agent years are in the prime of a player's career. And if you can get those locked up, if you can get those at a discount to what the price is going to be for top-end players, and you believe that this guy is going to be a frontline player, then you're willing to guarantee him the sort of money up front that teams in the past just simply weren't willing to.
Yeah, it comes down to belief. That's it, right there. That's the bottom line, that Jerry and Justin and their scouting department and whoever is involved in that decision look at this kid and go, this is a no-brainer. It's such a no-brainer. We're going to commit to an 8-year, maybe 9-year deal that's going to guarantee him close to 100, maybe over 100 if he reaches incentives, whatever. But we're ready to commit without seeing him against major league pitching and games that matter, games that count, without seeing how he functions at this level. We believe in him so much, we're going to make this commitment.
Yeah, the Brewers did this with Jackson Chourio a few years ago. That's worked out well so far. And ironically, they were the headliners before this happened because yesterday they signed a similar deal with one of their young shortstop prospects. Now, for much less because he's not as highly rated as Colt Emerson, but this is kind of the trend, what you're seeing, the things that Jeff Passan outlined. He kind of got into it a little bit more as well. We don't have the sound part from that, but he kind of added on that, look, with this new labor dispute, one thing that could happen is that MLB players hit free agency a little bit earlier. So instead of the 6 years, hey, if you're talking about now something that comes out of the CBA, if it's 4 or 5, well, all of a sudden, okay, the Mariners have just went right past that. They've just smoothed over any inconvenience there, and they have him for 8 to 9 years. You don't have to worry about, all right, in 4 years, Colt Emerson becomes a free agent, or 5 years. You don't have to worry about the service time manipulation. You can bring him up whenever he's ready and whenever you feel like he's a perfect fit for your team without the theatrics of, well, we can't for another week and all of that stuff that used to happen behind the scenes.
Passan went on to talk about this being a no-brainer as he sees it for the Mariners.
If you can lock in a franchise shortstop who makes good swing decisions, has good bat-to-ball skills, has some power, you do that 8 days a week. And I understand the price was hefty, but there's so much money to be made in terms of marginal value on this contract that the Mariners front office, they're smart people and they get the math, and the math in this case was good enough for them to lay out essentially $100 million for a guy who's never had a single day of big league service.
Sounds crazy.
I know. Yeah.
$100 million yet to play a moment at the major league level.
Well, and think about it from his perspective of, I'm sure he was disappointed to not make the big league roster, to make the opening day roster out of spring training. So he's down in Tacoma. They've started their season. They had an off day yesterday, and then all of a sudden, hey, here's this life-changing contract that's going to be handed down. And who knows when he actually decided he wanted to sign it. But to start your season in AAA and have this looming and then all of a sudden know, all right, I have that stability. I don't have to worry about my future. I can just devote myself to being the best player I can because I'm set. And that's not something I'll ever have to worry about for a decade.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't have to worry about it beyond that even, really. I mean, unless he's just a dope with his money, which I don't assume he will be. I mean, just a huge deal for him and the team. I mean, it really is a win-win situation and does represent gamble on both ends. They both take risk. They both made commitment. There's a belief on both ends. And this is, I don't see a negative other than, as a fan, if he goes out there and he just doesn't perform, never lives up to his potential, then you're looking at a guy going, well, geez, you're paying this guy $100 million to go out there and be average. Or You just did that with Mitch Garver. He's making the same amount Mitch Garver was, $12 million a year. And this is a guy who, again, is 20 years old and by all accounts is going to offer a lot more. And this is not to rip on Mitch, but that's just dollar value, what you're looking at for a kid who's going to be hitting right in the middle of his athletic prime when the contract expires.
I will quickly just, we can dive into the dark corners of the devil's advocates or the fearmongers who think that this in some way will affect their pursuit of their own pitchers. I don't think those have any impact.
I think it helps.
It does help, yes, because you get him at a reasonable price. Like all franchises, that in the future, people are going to be expensive, kind of like what the Seahawks did. Take care of your own now. Take care of Colt Emerson now. You have him at a cost that is static for the rest of these 8 years. Now you can focus on what an escalating cost might be for Logan Gilbert. So this is a good thing, even if it is in pursuit still of signing your very expensive to be free agent or soon to be free agent pitchers.
Yeah. Text coming in. You guys, again, can weigh in on this. Do you like the deal? Do you think it's too much for a kid that hasn't done anything at the major league level yet? You think the Mariners got a great deal? They both win, they both lose. How do you feel about it? 866-979-3776. 253 says, I like the deal for both sides. It shows the commitment level of both parties. I just worry about what this means for extending Gilbert and Wu. And again, I think it's a good deal in that sense. And I think it really helps that because they're not, we always talk about like John Schneider planning 3 years down the road with it. Well, this guy's got a contract coming up and now this guy's going to need an extension and always looking ahead. And they're dealing with the salary cap, so it's certainly a different dynamic there. But I think this helps when you're looking at a kid that they have absolute belief is going to be a star. And that's our shortstop of the future, and he's going to cost X amount of dollars. We're going to keep him through his arbitration years. Even those numbers are going to get big in arbitration years if he lives up to the potential. They're looking at it going, we're so certain about it. We're going to avoid all that. We're going to save money in a very big way by committing early. He's taken the risk that, again, he turns into a star and he's going to be wildly underpaid by baseball standards. So, and in that, you've already got that price locked in. So when you're talking about re-signing the other player, the pitchers or whoever, that's already there. You're not worried about, well, geez, we got a budget for Colt in the next couple of years because that contract's going to be 25, 30, 35, whatever that number is 4-5 years from now. That's eliminated. So this, to me, helps in a very big way when addressing the big contracts for presumably Logan or Wu or Kirby, whoever it is they want to resign.
Yeah, and despite the protesting and the frustration at times about the Mariners' maybe perceived inactivity in free agency, they have, since this group of homegrown guys have come up, they have taken care of their own guys, their homegrown talent. They've been very proactive in signing. You mentioned Julio when we started the show. Cal Raleigh, certainly. Talks have, begun, and now we'll have to reconvene with Logan Gilbert. But it's a proactive process that they know this is a core. Homegrown guys who know the organization, who represent everything that they believe in, and will be the most important part to winning. Ultimately, you might need to bring in one free agent as the capper or do something like you did with Donovan, but taking care of your own guys like this. So now you have your shortstop of the future, your center fielder, your catcher, and still work with your pitchers, but a good chunk of that will get resolved. And all of that forms a very enticing nucleus for the next 5+, 6+ seasons.
Yeah, it really is good. I mean, it's you got the middle of the field locked up. And again, that cost is locked in with him. That's the wild card. Because again, if he lived up to that potential, you let him go through his arbitration years, that number is going to get crazy.
It would be more than $12 million, which is what it's averaging out to right now.
Yeah. The text coming in 425. He only needs to average a 2-WAR season to make this contract valuable. Great deal. 541 says genius by both sides. He's happy. Salary will be underpaid at the end, and he gets a second contract. 425. It's only $12 million per year. If he's a top 5 shortstop in the league in 3 or 4 years, it's a steal. London makes $34 per year, so it could be an amazing deal. Everybody loves it. 206. Yeah. Colt better be buying dinner all year for his AAA buddies. I'd imagine that's on the docket, right? He's down there with his AAA guys.
I think you still have roommates. I wonder what his roommate is down there in the minors. Pretty sure you still have roommates on the road. Wonder what his roommate, whoever he rooms, it's like, hey.
You're paying for everything, right?
Everything.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever we don't get from the team you're buying. Yeah, that's great. That's a great move. One more from Jeff Passan, just talking about, this deal, in his opinion, tells players that Seattle has a lot of momentum, and it's a bet on their future.
This is an organization that has a lot of momentum going in it. And this is an organization that, when you look beyond what it's got right now with Wu and Kirby and Gilbert and Bryce Miller, we'll throw Emerson Hancock in there. I mean, how about him on Sunday night? Just absolutely tremendous. And oh, by the way, Kate Anderson and especially Ryan Sloan, who I've been talking about on this program for well over a year now, being like the next guy. Yeah, he's the next guy. So if you want to win, Seattle's a place you can do it.
Yeah. Is that who was whistling in the background? Is that Brock?
Oh, probably Brock, like always.
Yeah, just by way of comparison, and we'll talk about J.P. Crawford. He's making $12 million this year.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's a guy who's, he's 31 years old, going to be 32 next year. So, yeah, and this is not to rip on him by any stretch of the imagination. I think it solidifies what everybody already assumed. JP's in the final year of his deal. The likelihood was they weren't going to bring him back. He'd be 32. His range, as we've seen, has been a little diminished. And people take this, we've had some people, why are you ripping on JP? It's not a rip at all. It's just, if you watch him, if you've observed his defense, the metrics tell you that. He ranked toward the bottom if you want to get in the advanced metrics of defense, which I don't like, by the way. I'd rather use the eye test, but people rely on those. And if you're one of those people, check it out. He's been a rock solid player for this team. Doesn't mean he's always been great, but he's had great moments. He's had very solid seasons. He's been a leader in the clubhouse. He's been a great addition. J.P. Crawford has been a fantastic addition to this team. He's the longest tenured Mariner on this team. Having said all of that, I think you kind of see which way he's trending, and the idea that they were going to lock him up to any sort of, multi-year extension at the end of this year just didn't feel realistic to me at all. So whether Colt Emerson signed this deal or not, I still had the same opinion that this was going to be JP's last year with the team. And look, who knows? I don't know what his market is. Maybe they bring him back in a different role, obviously at a very reasonable cost if that's how the market bears. But I would assume he's going to have suitors out there after this season. Yeah,
it makes the long-term question very easy. Does add a wrinkle to the short-term question of what J.P. Crawford, what happens to him this year, and when do you bring Colt Emerson up? Because J.P. Crawford, waking up this morning, has a vastly different reaction than Colt Emerson this morning. So a guy that still has yet to make his season debut, now he's dealing with this news and the impact of him as a big clubhouse guy, or just specifically where he's going to play and how much. Because at some point, Colt Emerson's coming up this season. He's not going to sit all year in the minors. If he's this good, they gave him this money, he's going to make this impact this season. So is that in a couple weeks or in a month? Whenever it is, though, he's going to play every day. The same thing with Cole Young. They wanted him to play every day. It's going to happen with Colt Emerson. So it does add this kind of short-term complication with J.P. Crawford that I'd be curious to see what happens when he gets in there and when Colt Emerson finally does arrive. But it's a great problem. To sum it all up, it's a great problem to have when you have too many good players pushing each other for spots.
The interesting thing is I believe JP is making his first rehab assignment tonight with AAA Tacoma.
With Colt Emerson, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
How funny is that? That's kind of random, right? On the heels of on the heels of all this news. I think I saw that post earlier today showing him in a Rainier's uniforms. And
wow.
Yeah. Did you find it?
It says he's joined AAA Tacoma, will begin a rehab assignment.
Yeah. So how about that? He's down there with Colt Emerson looking at his replacement.
Huh. Another unnecessary complication then.
Yeah.
For him short term, yeah.
Interesting timing. Interesting timing. So we'll continue to talk about what this means for the team this season and certainly beyond. But I think the texts are flying in. People love this deal, and I think for good reason. It again represents risks on both sides, but it represents belief on both sides as well. So I think it's a tremendous deal for both parties. Make sure to download the Seattle Sports app, by the way, where you can listen to every Mariners game all season long. One app, completely free. Enjoy every pitch of Rick Riz's final season all in one place at no cost. It's the easiest way to enjoy Seattle Mariners baseball. And did we mention it's free? And you can download our podcast there. Everything's at your fingertips with the app. So check out the Seattle Sports app if you don't already have that. Let's take two.
Well, it's a rematch of the opening day starters, not facing each other, but it's the opening day starters again for both teams. Logan Gilbert on the mound for the Mariners. Max Fried is going for the Yankees. Now, this is only their fifth game, but they're going with a four-man rotation early on. They have a lot of injuries, and they've had these strange off days. They had a Thursday and Sunday off day to start the season. They have another one coming up next Thursday, next Monday. So they're going to have a four-man rotation. Mariners are facing the lefty Max Fried, and they're going with a lineup that we saw a couple games ago against that lefty for the Guardians. Rob Refsnyder is leading off. He's the DH. He's leading off. You have Brendan Donovan hitting sixth in the lineup tonight. Cal Raleigh back there hitting second. He's catching. I'll just rattle off. People get annoyed when I don't say them all. Julio, Naylor, Arozarena, Donovan, Robles, Rivas, and Cole Young in the lineup.
Who gets annoyed?
There were times when listeners, when I was I made a point to list the notable changes in the lineup, and then people would go, well, what about the rest of the lineup? It's the same. Julio's in there. Cal's in there.
That seems out of character.
Yeah, Refsnyder leading off for the second time this season.
Yeah, well, that's what he was brought in here to do, is hit lefties. Mm-hmm. So hopefully we see some of that tonight. Interesting to see Donovan drop down to sixth. He's been smoking hot, as has Cole Young, who's hitting ninth. This lineup, man, if you get those middle three guys. You get Cal coming off a great night, obviously. Julio. I predict Naylor's going to get his first hit of the season tonight. I predicted it last night. I was wrong. So I'm going again tonight. I believe in him. He's going to get that first hit out of the way tonight.
Well, this news kind of came as a surprise because they had been so good at avoiding it. So for the first time in their history, the Seahawks will be on the upcoming training camp edition of Hard Knocks.
Here we go. Love it. I love it. I think the idea of a distraction is so overplayed. I don't feel like anybody's going to suffer, that they're not going to focus on football, that they're going to be out there on the field thinking about cameras instead of the play that they're supposed to learn. Come on. No, I think it's going to be great. The only thing I wish is it would have happened in the Legion of Boom days. No offense to this team, but this is a pretty buttoned up team. These are all great guys. I think they'll come off really, really well. But if you want personality, you want characters, there's some of those guys certainly on this team, but come on, Michael Bennett and Sherman and Baldwin and Pete Carroll and that group. I wish this way. I know the rules changed and everything. It wasn't possible back then, but I love that it's happening. I wish it was that version of the Seahawks. Yeah,
the problem was they were too good, and now Hard Knocks has become kind of milquetoast because everyone knows don't reveal too much, and everyone's so buttoned up. And you're right. Can you imagine Mike McDonald revealing anything of consequence? No.
Zero
It'll
chance.
be great to see all the behind-the-scenes access from a fan perspective. From an internal perspective, I get it. It's very intrusive. You probably don't want to deal with it. I don't think it'll be a distraction at all, but it is an intrusive thing that now you have to worry about. An extra wrinkle with hundreds of Hard Knocks cameramen running all around, all over the place.
I think it'll be cool. I love it. I don't think it's a big deal in the way of distraction at all. They're not going to expose any secrets.
Look for Bob on HBO this summer.
Yeah, that's right. And they do a great job. It's a great show. Even if you don't like the team, you don't care about the team, they make every team seem interesting. You sort of get invested in following that team. Take Two is brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. Coming up, the depth of the Mariners' rotation was on full display last night. We'll dive into the impact it could have on the season. That's coming up next. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
How do you like that?
2-1 to Cal. Swinging a shot over the bag at first. Fair ball. The Mariners win it. Here comes Leo Reed. Rivas to score. Cal Raleigh with a walk-off single.
After walking it off in the opener, the Mariners send Logan Gilbert to the mound tonight in Game 2. Mariners-Yankees. First pitch 6:40, pregame at 5:30. You only need one app to get every Mariners game live for free. The Seattle Sports app.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here for my friends at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Celebrate Mom with Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel's Mother's Day weekend giveaway. You could win one of 100 designer handbags filled with prizes on Saturday, May 9th and Sunday, May 10th. Don't forget to book a stay at the new hotel. It's awesome. Elevate your next getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost in relaxation. Head to snocasino.com for details. It is Seattle's closest Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Please game responsibly.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafy, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. Improve your play with 25% off windows and doors or 12 months, no payments, and no interest. And we're giving back with 2 $5,000 scholarships for our local youth sports teams. Upgrade your home at PellaPNW.com.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Dan. Dan, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
I had the same insurance company for 30 years and just accepted all the premium increases as inflation or feeling tethered to them because I have earthquake coverage and was uncertain about being able to get that anywhere else. But when I talked to Ken at First Mark, wow, he came back with bigger umbrella policy, better earthquake coverage, which I didn't think was possible. And when he came down with the premium number, it was a no-brainer. We were saving over $2,500 a year. Don't wait, because it's annoying to think of what I could have done with that money over the last 10 years had I done something sooner.
Well, Dan did it. My family did it. You got to do it, and it's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge today. See how much money they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be the next First Mark Challenge victory that I get to talk to as well. Simply go to firstmarkinsurance.com, firstmarkinsurance.com.
Do you like helping others? Become a Shiva volunteer. In Lewis County, join the hundreds of volunteers across Washington state who help over 90,000 people each year with their Medicare options and questions. You don't have to know Medicare. We'll teach you. And if you're bilingual, even better. For more information and how to apply, call Shiva at 1-800-562-6900 or go to insurance.wa.gov.
Sponsored by the Office of the Insurance Commissioner and aired by the Washington State Association of Broadcasters and this station.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Mariners fans, the 2026 season is officially underway, and the defending AL West champs are ready to feed off your energy at T-Mobile Park. Be here for every monster home run.
Goodbye! A no-doubt moonshot by Julio.
Every 100-mile-per-hour heater.
Andres Munoz has simply been incredible.
Every historic moment.
Number 60, the magical tour of Cal Raleigh just continues.
Lock in your seats today at mariners.com/tickets.
Mariners, Yankees. Tonight at T-Mobile. First pitch at 6:40, 5:30 pregame. Hear every pitch live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Only available with TurboTax experts. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app.
Progressive knows you think the grass is always greener, like maybe you ride a motorcycle. But today, it's raining. So you wish you had an RV, but if you did, you'd have to listen to some guy parked next to you at a campsite plays acoustic guitar. Now, before you start wishing you had a boat, Remember, your brother-in-law would invite himself every weekend.
Permission to come aboard, Captain?
But one thing that is greener is the money you could save when you bundle your RV, boat, or motorcycle with your home or auto with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
If you've gained 20, 30, or even 40 or more pounds over the past few years and nothing seems to work anymore, listen up. I'm Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss, and our completely medication-free program has helped thousands in Washington lose 20 to 30 pounds in just 60 days. No drugs, no weekly shots, no muscle loss, no side effects, no forever monthly costs, just food, but the right type, in the right amount at the right time. All part of a detailed plan with expert coaching every step of the way that helps you reset your metabolism and burn fat. Schedule your free phone consult at eastsideweightlossklinik.com.
Yeah, Mike Salk here, and Dr. Coogan is right. I can attest to losing 35 pounds with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. It works. It's safer, less expensive than alternatives, with no injections or pills, and no scary side effects. Schedule a free consult and find out for yourself.
Over 4,000 people have lost 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 60 days. Come to our clinic in Kirkland or do our program from anywhere you live with our remote options. Schedule your free phone consult online at eastsideweightlossklinik.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. You guys can weigh in on the Mariners, the big win last night against the Yankees. You want to weigh in on the Colt Emerson contract, which is big for both sides. You love it, you hate it, somewhere in between. How do you feel about it? 866-979-3776. Or you can send in your mean text. We got one here.
Oh, yeah, okay. I was about to add one, too, but yeah, go for it.
You were going to add a mean? You were going to send
I was
in
going
one
to add
yourself?
some material for mean text.
Oh, 509 says, because I was reading that piece about, the Seattle Sports app, where you can listen to every Mariner game this season for free. You just download the app, and you got it right there. 509 said, why don't you stay home and listen for free, Bob? Fair enough. And despite what Dave seems to believe about mean text, you can send them in any day you want. I don't know how he landed on you only send them in on Fridays. Because forever, we've been doing this for years, and I've said repeatedly, we collect them throughout the week, and we unveil them on Friday. Somehow
it's easier if you do that, honestly.
Yeah. And somehow in his head it turned into, no, you only send them in on Fridays. That's not the case, everybody. You send them in whenever you want.
Well, since we're piling on Dave, I was going to mention that if you wanted to text in for Mean Text Friday, which he still won't be here for, we'll still read him, though, comment on the fact that he's being a diva and taking his birthday off.
Yeah.
It's his birthday today, but Dave Wyman was going to spend it somewhere else instead of here. Cannot believe that.
He didn't want to be subjected to the old man jokes that would invariably come from the texters and all that. I sent him a text wishing him happy birthday. He's out there in California enjoying the sun and the warmth and all that. But, yes, you can. Point being, you can send them in throughout the week. And if they stand out, Lefko will collect them and unveil them on Friday. So there you go.
And then I can pretend they were just sent in on Friday.
That's right. For some reason. I don't know how that switched with him. That, no, you don't send them in on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. No. Numbnuts. Anyway, last night it was, first of all, great to beat the Yankees. Yankees have been piling up runs. They were undefeated. I know it was only 3 games for them. But they were 3-0. They had won all 3 games on the road. They came in here. They were mashing. And this pitching staff, starting with Luis Castillo, who just threw a gem out there last night. He was fantastic. And he's the one out of the 5, I should say, that I'd hold to the lowest standard, just based on age and where he's at in his career. I'm just not expecting him to go out and dominate. I'm expecting him to keep him in the game. And he was dominant. He was fantastic, shutting down that lineup on a frigid night. It was, for those that were out there, you know what I'm talking about. It was cold out there. They even asked him after the game through the interpreter, like, were you cold out there? And he answered, and he goes, yes. Kind of an emphatic yes and smiling. But how apropos was it that he collected his 1,500th career strikeout, and it was Aaron Judge.
Into the motion, the 1-2 to Judge. Half cut, did he go? Yes, he did! Strike 3. Judge goes down for Luis Castillo. Strikeout 1,500. And he does it against Aaron Judge. Congratulations to Luis Castillo. 1,500 strikeouts.
So good. He was fantastic last night. I mean, above what I reasonably expected from him. 6 innings, just 2 hits, no runs. 7 strikeouts, 2 walks. He was outstanding. I don't know what more you could reasonably expect from him again against that line. Had he given up a couple runs, I'd have been happy. Give me 6 and 3.
Yeah.
Give me a quality start. If he gave up 3 runs, 6 innings, I would have left saying, hey, he did his job, man. He kept you in the game, gave you a chance to win. But he did more. He was outstanding.
Yeah, you see that at times with Castillo, especially early in the season where, all right, loses control of one pitch, some hard contact, maybe he gives up a home run. Not even hard contact last night. Held the Yankees to just 2 singles. So to hold that lineup to just 2 singles on a night where the Mariners offense did need the pitching to come through, incredibly reassuring because kind of like you were alluding to, when you look at these 5, Bryce Miller when healthy, or even Emerson Hancock right now, when you look at these 5, if you were to say, who would be the one guy that first time through that went 5 1/3? The rest of them went 6. One guy goes 5 1/3. You think, well, maybe Castillo because of everything you said. Pitch count got up there a little bit. He was hit for maybe 3 runs and 7 hits. We've seen that at time with the contact. But that 4-seamer had a ton of life, generated 13 whiffs on it. I think Daniel
17
Kramer.
total whiffs.
Yeah,
I think, on the
17
night.
total. And Daniel Kramer mentioned that on the 4-seamer alone, the 13 whiffs, 3rd most on that pitch in his career. So that had life to it. He was twisting Aaron Judge up on the pitch that we just heard, the 1,500 strikeout. He was in command, set up everything, and to show that he can still do that, it's incredibly encouraging for the depth of this rotation and what you can do every single night when you have those 4 quality starts. And what we expect will be Logan Gilbert getting up there soon as well.
Yeah, it was an interesting night in terms of pitch selection for him because he's a guy who's got a tremendous changeup, and he's relied on that throughout his career. That's just been a really good pitch for him. He only threw 2 last night. He only threw 7 pitches that weren't fastballs. I think the other 5 were sliders. It was an interesting night. He was wildly effective. The bullpen was solid out there. I mean, to hold that lineup to 1 run is big. I mean, that's a big ask out there, for your starter and the bullpen. And as you just mentioned, on a night where offense didn't have much going themselves. I mean, they had to squeeze out 2 runs, took a dramatic moment in the bottom of the 9th with Cal up there at the plate to plate that 2nd run. But just a tremendous night for Luis Castillo. And Dan Wilson after the game just giving a shout out for the career milestone and just talks about how impressive it was that Castillo was able to do what he did against that Yankee lineup.
There's so many things to talk about, so many positives. The Rock, really, that's where you got to start and end with it. He was tremendous tonight. 1,500 strikeouts is outstanding. Congratulations to him on that milestone. But just being able to hold this lineup scoreless for 6 innings, I thought he made just a ton of great pitches.
He did, and give Garver really credit. Yeah. They were in lockstep together. He called a great game. It was just that was a fun game to watch. Just as a baseball fan, just watching the back and forth. All right, both these offenses are kind of being locked down here. Who's going to break through? And the Mariners, obviously, they did. But just a tremendous outing from him. And the first time through the rotation now. You look at the numbers. They have a 1.84 ERA. The starters do. Through these first 5 games. First time through the rotation, 6 earned runs in 29 1/3 innings, 38 strikeouts, 6 walks combined. 38 strikeouts lead Major League Baseball. The 1.84 ERA is 3rd. So you're getting everything you could want from your starters. You had a couple. It's been 5 games, so take it for what it is. You had a couple moments where the bullpen, Spire had a rough go. Your offense still trying to find their rhythm. Your starters are going out there and doing their job and doing what you'd hope, more importantly, because we talked about 2024 being this outlier year where everybody was healthy. They all made their starts. You had 7 total individuals make a start. I mean, it was an unreal year. Last year, polar opposite. Everybody taking turns getting hurt. Just give me that midpoint. Give me something in between those 2 seasons. And this team will be in phenomenal shape because this lineup's going to be fine. Yep. They're going to be fine. I'm not – yeah, you get kind of frustrated seeing Cal up there or Julio or Naylor still looking for his first hit. Yeah, but it's coming. It's coming.
I mean, pitching will ultimately be the thing that takes you deep into October and wins you a World Series, especially with this group and this core. I mean, it's not apples to apples, but the Dodgers last year, they wouldn't have won the World Series without performances like Yamamoto going every single night, it seemed like, or Will Klein's ridiculous 4 innings in relief in that 18-inning game. So to have pitching depth when you have these stars that can supplement that, That's exactly what keeps the Mariners rolling. And right now, when the offense isn't doing it, you kind of hone back on what your bread and butter is. And that's what they've done the first time through. And there is that give and take. That's the fascinating dynamic between reacting every single day to something and then looking at the entire course of a season.
Yeah.
Where in about a month or so, we'll have a smaller sample size. Then, all right, 2 months in, you'll have a more complete picture. But right now, it's been pitching, and that's what this team is really built on, and they have shown exactly why. They have doubled down and tripled down on why they love developing arms.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch to this point. So we'll see if they can duplicate that tonight with Logan Gilbert on the hill in Game 2 of this series. Meanwhile, a big question continues to loom over this Mariners offense, and we'll get into that coming up next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
Brock and Salk.
Brock, you knew I was not going to get long before I was going to talk about Luke Raley.
Morning 6 to 10.
He hit the snot out of the ball all weekend long.
He was a 3.5 win player, correct, in 2024?
Him and Canzone and Cole Young, like all those guys aren't being asked to carry them much weight. On a weekend where Julio and Cal and Naylor do next to nothing, those guys are perfectly capable of it. I think that's awesome.
Brock and Salk on the home of your American League West champion Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877 Cars for Kids to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
Hey, Brock Ewert here for my friends at People Come First, or PCF Construction Group. Spring, well, it's the perfect time to start planning your dream deck. And right now, PCF is making it easier than ever to get you started with 50% off your custom professional design and architectural drawing package. What does it mean? Well, it means you can save over $9,000 on your project. And with 12 months of no interest, no payment financing, you can design your deck now and pay later. Most people who start with a design package end up with the outdoor space they've always dreamed of. And this offer is your first step. Don't wait until summer and wish you had started the process sooner. Start it now. Do what Molly and I did some years ago. Contact PCF Construction Group today. Get project ideas, browse photos, and find all the offer details at PCFgroup.com. Go see my friends at PCFgroup.com.
Making your outdoor space with People Come First.
Spring is a perfect time to make improvements that protect and add value to your home. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. For decades, homeowners across the Pacific Northwest have trusted our team for roofing, siding, windows, and custom decking. This spring, save up to $3,000, or qualified homeowners can take advantage of zero down, zero payments, and zero interest up to 24 months. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule your free estimate.
Seattle Sports has your last shot to participate in the madness. Head to seattlesports.com/win to fill out your 4-team bracket. It's one final chance to join in on the Seattle Sports Bracket Bucks, presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort. And the winner of the 4-team competition will win a $250 Visa gift card. Register and find complete rules at seattlesports.com/win. Seattle Sports Bracket Bucks, presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Olympic Hot Tub has more ways than ever to achieve total wellness at home. Immerse yourself in a saltwater hot spring spa and let jets melt stress away. Enjoy a refreshing swim in an endless pool swim spa. Retreat to healing warmth and detox in a Tilo sauna. Then awaken mind and body with a cold plunge. You'll be saying, ah, in no time. Your path to wellness starts today at Olympic Hot Tub. Current specials with exciting savings at olympichottub.com. Better you, better life.
Listen every day to the Bump and Stacy Show for headline rewrites. Powered by Bay Alarm Security Services. Security systems and fire alarms for every business. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
On top of home and auto, Progressive protects your boat, RV, and motorcycle so you can explore the unknown.
Actually, we just take the RV to the same campground every year.
Well, maybe you can catch your own dinner on your boat.
Oh, we can actually get pizza delivered there from this brick oven place we love.
Will you at least try a new topping?
Honestly, probably not. We kind of have a go-to order.
Fine. Just bundle home or auto insurance with your outdoor vehicles with Progressive and stay protected when you go, I guess, where you've gone before. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
You could file your taxes on a basic free service, which is fine. But are you okay with fine? Because when it's your money on the line, do you really want to guess if you missed a credit or hope the math is right? Get the confidence of TurboTax for free right on the Intuit Credit Karma app. Free Fed and free state for simple 1040s only. Around 37% of filers qualify. See details at turbotax.com/free. No schedules except for EITC, CTC, student loan interest, and Schedule 1A.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Got a good mean text about Dave and his age here. The 206 says, saw a highlight of Dave. The Sports Center ticker at the bottom of the screen was talking about Watergate. And then they just wrote, old, exclamation point. Oh, that's good. And then a couple people taking issue with the fact I said that Dave was out in California instead of down in California. My humble apologies. I hope you're going to be okay.
Real fun people, it sounds like.
they are really fun to hang out with. It's down. You don't know geography. I know it's down.
Wow.
I'm so sorry.
A devastating burn. Bob doesn't know geography. Is that better or worse than not knowing ball?
It's the equivalent.
Yeah.
Well, it's certainly more true. I know ball. I'm not that dialed into geography, but I do know that California is down. I get it. Sorry. I hope you'll forgive me and offer me another opportunity to rectify such a horrible, horrible situation.
We believe in you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Meanwhile, taking a look at, and we just touched on this briefly, and this is sort of the elephant in the room, if you will. The middle of the Mariners lineup right now is not good. It's not good. It's 5 games. They're going to be fine. There's no panic. But as we sit right now, Josh Naylor is batting 0. He's 0 for the season so far. He has yet to record a hit. Seems like he's a little out in front of the fastball, still finding his timing. He's making contact. It's not like he's striking out left and right. He had 1 strikeout last night, but he's hitting it at people. He's not hitting it hard. Julio hit a rocket to center, right at the center field. It feels like he's right there. It feels like Julio is seeing the ball. He's right there. There's going to be swing and miss. It's still part of his game, but his timing looks to be there. He's just missing it, but currently hitting .053. Cal, with that hit last night, bumped his average up to 176. That's the meat of your order right there. The star is hitting 176. I mean, tells you what's going on and what you're not getting, at least at this point. But you wonder if the way things ended last night for Cal could be sort of a launching pad for him.
The look in by Blackbird. Here we go, the stretch of the right-handers. 2-1 to Cal. Swinging a shot over the bag at first. Fair ball. The Mariners win it. Here comes Leo Rivas to score. Cal Raleigh with a walk-off single. And the Mariners beat the Yankees tonight. 2-1 in the bottom of the 9th inning. Cal Raleigh with a run batted in. A shot over the bag at first. Down the right field line. And the Mariners with their first walk-off win of the 2026 season. And the big dumper comes through in the clutch.
He needed that. Any of those three could have used it. But I think specifically Cal, because the spotlight is so bright on him based on last season, based on 60 home runs, based on being the home run derby champ, playing in the WBC. His profile has become so big. And, then the back and forth with Randy in the WBC. He's just been in the news. He's so present. So all eyes are on every pitch, every at-bat. You're seeing he was striking out a ton. And not coming up with anything. And it was interesting to see him get a night off completely. You figure, all right, you get it. He's not going to catch every night. He'd caught 4 games in a row, so the idea that he was going to get a night off made sense, but he wasn't even the DH. You always figure, well, that's your first option at DH, switch hitter, so it doesn't matter whether you got a lefty or righty on the hill. He's your first option at DH when he's not catching, and he wasn't in the lineup. So seemed like they were just giving him a little bit of a breather out there. Then he gets called into action, obviously, late in the game, strikes out in his first plate appearance. And you're going, man, he's not seeing it. He's not there yet. Then that hit. And you wonder, is that the catalyst?
Yeah, I think so. And I do think for Cal, more than anyone else, maybe Naylor, it's tough to tell because it's a case-by-case basis. But for someone like Cal, who is so process and routine-oriented and needs to do so much to get ready at the start of a season, at-bat-wise, he's got left-handed swing, right-handed swing. He's got to worry about getting his pitchers ready. Everything that is on his plate in spring training and all the reps he gets, to go to the WBC where it's so stop and start, an erratic process. You play every other day. You're not in a cage hitting on the off day because you're just in a hotel, holed up in Houston. Right. There are no facilities to go and hit like you would during spring training. And then he didn't play for the final 2 days. So you had that stretch where he's not getting all that time in the cage like he would, and you come back here, all that attention, you're right, maybe he's pressing a little bit, or maybe just the natural timing. Who knows what he needs to get going in spring training, but everything that he didn't get to do when he was gone for 2 weeks and only took 9 total at-bats, and it was like 13 total plate appearances because he had a handful of walks, all of that then comes back into this delayed start to the season. And so, all right, maybe he's going to need a little more time and just to see one, right? To see, it's almost like basketball, to see one go in when a guy's in a big slump, to see that ball get out into the outfield, get the win. You remember, look, I'm clutch. I got 5 walk-off hits in my career. Yeah, I think it's going to help. And to kind of carry that over to Josh Naylor, I wonder if that's the same for him because he had in the past been a very fast starter.
Yeah.
And in the back of my mind, I keep thinking, well, maybe he's not going to like hitting at T-Mobile Park anymore. After he jokingly, he not jokingly, but after he said that last year and reiterated a couple of times, in the back of my mind, I'm like, maybe he's going to think, well, I'll change that. I think it's more of same thing with him. Needs a lot of time in the cage. Maybe needs a lot of reps to get going in spring training. His similar path for the WBC, get him back here. But you're right. At some point, he's going to need to start getting it on track, and it just hasn't been there yet.
First hit's coming tonight.
Yeah.
Hit number 1.
We can keep saying it until it happens.
Might be a multi-hit night. I don't know, but at least number 1 is coming tonight. I feel it. After the game, Dan Wilson just talking about what he thinks that moment for Cal will mean moving forward.
Yeah, I think when you have big moments like that does give you confidence, and he just put up a really good at bat there, and got a pitch he could handle, put a really good swing on it, I think that's something definitely he builds on, and it's tough when you're sitting and then have to come into a game like that. But, I really give him a lot of credit tonight that he was able to do that and come in there. Not only come in, but come in a situation, the first time up, with a runner at third there, and then the last time up with a runner in third and putting up a really strong at-bat.
Yeah, so that's big. And real quick, we talked about the fact that he got the night off, which not a surprise, caught 4 games in a row, but just not being in the lineup even as a DH. This is Dan pregame asked why Cal was not in the lineup.
Sure. Coming out of spring training, he had a, sort of a shorter spring training in a lot of ways and didn't want to spike his workload too much. A chance to give him a day here after playing all 4 there against Cleveland. Obviously, Cal's had a chance here in these first 4 games to get some ABs and get his season underway. I think that was helpful. But, yeah, he was trying to get as many ABs in as he could, down the stretch of spring training. And, I think he was able to accomplish that. And so I think it's just a matter of giving him a little bit of a breather today and getting back after it tomorrow.
I want to add the important point here is that San Francisco is further west than Seattle. Back to the start of this conversation. So you were right. Wyman is over in California. I just had to, that wasn't meshing with me. And then someone pointed out, like, hey, down in the Bay Area, it's further west. I was like, yeah, or LA, SoCal is further west than Seattle. I'm like, yeah, well, so is San Francisco. So that's the important part.
So I was right? Is that what you're saying? Okay.
You were right. And yes, Cal Raleigh, that will help. I understand the slow start. I'm not worried about it. We mentioned the rest of the lineup has picked it up. Yeah. And so it hasn't been a concern yet. When will it be concerning? Hey, if it's still happening in a month plus, and if they aren't winning because of it. But right now, they're winning. Rest of the lineup's been fine.
By the way, I officially rescind my apology.
Yeah, I was like, don't apologize.
That's right. I'm sorry for nothing. Yeah. All right, coming up, Brady Henderson is on site at the NFL annual meetings, and we'll get all of the latest happening there from him. He's going to join us next. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
How do you like that?
2-1 to Cal. Swinging a shot over the bag at first. Fair ball. The Mariners win it. Here comes Leo Rivas to score. Cal Raleigh with a walk-off single.
After walking it off in the opener, the Mariners send Logan Gilbert to the mound tonight in Game 2. Mariners-Yankees. First pitch 6:40, pregame at 5:30. You only need one app to get every Mariners game live for free. The Seattle Sports app.
Old windows cost you money and security. Lake Washington Windows and Doors installs energy-efficient, high-security windows that lower your bills and increase protection. With leak armor installation and lifetime warranties, you're protected for life. Choose LakeWashingtonWindows.com today.
Listen every morning to Brock and Salk for Need to Know, powered by Marquee Data. Marquee IQ brings all your data together into one clear view. Stop running your business on highlights. Get the full picture. Visit datathatwins.com to learn more.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from IQ Bar. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at eatiqbar.com/policy/terms of service.
I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ Bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and zero weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Now you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping when you text radio to 64,000. Text radio to 64,000 to get your 20% off. That's radio to 64,000.
Seattle Sports has your last shot to participate in the madness. Head to seattlesports.com/win to fill out your 4-team bracket. It's one final chance to join in on the Seattle Sports Bracket Bucks, presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort. And the winner of the 4-team competition will win a $250 Visa gift card. Register and find complete rules at seattlesports.com/win. Seattle Sports Bracket Bucks, presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Justin's an avid skier, and a hard fall on the mountain changed everything.
I wound up tearing my meniscus, and then I found out that I also had osteoarthritis.
The pain was relentless.
Initially, it was probably a 7 or 8, but then it just continued and never went away.
It wasn't just pain, it was how he moved.
The biggest issue I had was simply walking. I could not walk without limping.
Others might have looked into surgery, but Justin chose stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. How's it now?
I'm back to skiing as hard as I can, and I don't even notice my knee anymore.
And the recovery?
Well, the biggest thing is I was walking without a limp within weeks, where I had been limping for the last year or so. Now I just feel totally normal. I feel like I can do anything that I ever did.
Before you choose surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first, the most experienced in the Northwest with over 20,000 stem cell procedures. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful,
but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
It's a matchup of opening day starters tonight. Logan Gilbert on the hill for the Mariners. Max Fried gets the ball for the Yankees. 6:40 first pitch. 5:30 pregame coverage right here on Seattle Sports. Now, something we can ask Brady Henderson a little bit more about, because NFL owners adopted 4 rule changes today. 3 are minor ones to kickoffs. The 4th approved making on-field corrections to correct clear and obvious mistakes if replacement refs are used this season. And some NFL news we didn't get to yesterday, but it is pretty important. Niners have promoted KJ Wright to linebackers coach. New Titans coach Robert Saleh said today that he was not allowed to poach Wright, who he expects will be a coordinator in the near future.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour of Wyman and Bob is brought to you by K2 Vision RLE.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
We'll be catching up with ESPN's Brady Henderson, who's at the annual NFL meetings. As soon as we're able to get him on the horn, we'll talk some football with him. Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. You're getting some counters to your claims about California being out, down.
Well, I like that one person argued that it's more down than west, because Dave is in San Francisco, that area, and that is further west than Seattle. So he would be out there. But the reply was, well, it's more down than out. So
you knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Somebody just wrote, look at a map.
Yeah. Well, because I was saying, I misread a text that said SoCal, and I thought it said west. It is east. But my point was Dave is in San Francisco, which is definitively west of Seattle.
Hey, guys, San Francisco is essentially the same longitude as Seattle. L.A. is not west of either, says the 206. This is the kind of stuff people just go nuts on.
Yeah,
they love the throwaway line.
They love the
into
tiniest thing that they could correct you about.
Oh, I love it. Never change, texters. Meanwhile, joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook hotline, he's out there at the NFL annual meetings. From ESPN.com, our buddy Brady Henderson is here with us. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. I'm not going to tell you guys how nice the weather is down here because I don't want anybody to get jealous. But, yeah, it is always love coming to the owners' meetings, especially when they're in Arizona and not in Florida.
Yeah, where in Arizona are they?
Phoenix at the
Phoenix,
Biltmore. In Phoenix, yep.
Yeah. So, well,
Turns out it's a nice hotel where NFL owners stay when they come out for these meetings.
I would imagine no expenses spared there. It's probably a very nice event. And before we get into all of that and what's happening there, Brady, I just want to get your reaction to the news that the Seahawks will be taking part in Hard Knocks for the first time. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be a great behind-the-scenes look. I mean, I imagine that at times, that show, and as with other reality shows, they take some liberties with the editing. But I think, all in all, it's a pretty interesting look behind the scenes that you don't get even when you're there, every day, like beat reporters are. And so the access is unmatched, and you tend to see just kind of the team on a deeper level than you do, even, like I said, when you're out there every day. So I'm sure that there's some mixed feelings in the building about it. Coaches, don't tend to be all that welcoming to camera crews coming in and filming their whole operation. And I can't imagine that Mike McDonald is any different than your average coach. But I think there's also plenty of people in the building who see it as an opportunity to just, give the team more exposure. And, there are a lot of pretty big personalities or interesting personalities on that team that are, people are going to learn a lot more about. And so I imagine there's plenty of people in the organization who are excited about that aspect of it, despite kind of the logistical mess that it can create.
Yeah, so Brady, is it just now the NFL will pick? Because it used to be all these stipulations, and I know they relaxed the rules a little bit a couple years ago, but for them to announce these just two now, Seahawks and then Patriots next year, is it pretty much, if you're a team, you're at the mercy of the league, just saying, yes, you're going to be on it?
Yeah, you're right. There used to be rules where, if you were a team with like a first-time head coach, you were exempt. If you, I think there was something about if you hadn't made the playoffs in X number of years, you were subject to being on it. And now, they got rid of all that. So I think the NFL, I think teams still technically could say no, but the NFL, can pretty strongly suggest that they do it, I guess is maybe the best way to put it. And so obviously the Seahawks agreed to do it. So, despite maybe some reservations among the coaching staff, I think they probably see it as a net plus.
So and we'll move on to what's going on down there at the meetings, but I've always thought the idea of it's a distraction, that it's somehow going to have a negative impact on the outcome of a season because players or coaches are too focused on the cameras around them and, that it's this big intrusive thing. And I'm sure it is to an extent, but the idea that it's somehow going to have a negative impact on their preparation for the season, I always thought was nonsense. But what is your feeling about that?
Yeah, I'm probably somewhere in between, just because it is different when you get, camera crews in there filming, your every move. And, there's probably I imagine there is a, pretty detailed, kind of back and forth on, the team, ultimately has to sign off on what is in there. And, I'm sure a ton of stuff gets left on the editing room floor because, the team just doesn't clear it for whatever reason, whether it's, obviously there's a ton of just game plan or, X's and O's specific stuff that they're not going to want out there. So I think it's probably somewhere in between. Like any team that's ever been on Hard Knocks that had a bad season, that probably wasn't the reason for it. But at the same time, it, probably doesn't really help you focus on football either.
Brady, what's the sense around there about the replacement refs? Because we saw that the competition committee passed this rule today about allowing on-field corrections if there's a clear and obvious mistake in the case of replacement refs. What's the sense of this happening, and how do you think this will play out?
Yeah, I've got to be honest with you, Mike. I have not really followed that whole story. I've mostly been down here just focusing on the Seahawks. So if
that's fair. That's your job. I apologize.
Comment on that, I would probably just be making it up, and so I'm gonna plead ignorance on that one for now.
No, that's fair. Just replacement refs and replacement refs in general. I mean, we all remember 2012, right? It just seems like it's wild that they are willing to go back to this, I guess.
Yeah, and maybe it is partially a scare tactic. The NFL knows full well how that went, and maybe they're using that as some sort of pressure to try to get a deal done. Knowing that nobody wants to go back to that. But like I said, that's not really a story I've been following. Just that I've got enough, trying to track down Seahawks people while I'm down here and all that.
What is your take on what the Seahawks have done in the off season? As you probably read on your Twitter account, Brady, and there's some hand wringing going on, feeling like teams around them have surpassed them. The Rams have made these big deals, and the 49ers have made deals, and they're getting healthy, and the Seahawks have lost players. They've lost Kobe Bryant, which was the biggest one for me personally. But, they brought in some guys on one-year deals that feel like they're just sort of taking a flyer on some guys, and even at running back with Emmanuel Wilson. What's your feeling about what they've done to this point and maybe what's in store?
Yeah, I don't think any of the guys that they lost in free agency should have been big surprises. I've been saying for a while now that Rick Woolen was not part of their long-term plans. And I think it became clear at the trade deadline that neither was Boye Mafe. When the report from Adam Schefter came out that the Seahawks entertained a trade offer for Mafe. And so, Bryant was the one guy who I thought that could kind of go either way. But he got a pretty good amount of money from Chicago. And as good of a player as he was, I think his kind of career arc in Seattle showed that that's a position that you can find and that you don't necessarily have to pay, 14 or 13, whatever $1 million it was. They found Kobe Bryant in the 4th round as a converted cornerback. They found Ty Okada, who filled in pretty well for him, gave them starter level play while Julian Love was out, I should say. They got him as an undrafted free agent. They're also high on A.J. Finley, a guy who was having a pretty nice camp last year before tearing his ACL. I think that was in the mock game, if I'm not mistaken. And they signed a couple guys. They got DeAnthony Bell back and signed Rodney Thomas. And so it's one of those positions, I think, along with running back, that, as John Schneider said, you can find those guys. So I think that's why, maybe they're not, in terms of the backfield, that's probably why they don't seem to be panicking nearly as much as some fans do. I think they know that there's work to be done in the backfield. The way I see it is Emmanuel Wilson is sort of your Zach Charbonnet replacement, at least in terms of, that physical runner. I still think they need to find somebody who's going to help them, recoup some of the explosiveness that they don't have with Ken Walker III gone. Maybe Kenny McIntosh can give them that, but, he's an unproven player who's coming off a serious knee injury. So, if they add to the backfield in the draft, I think it's going to be somebody with a good bit of explosiveness is my guess. But I also don't think, with how high they are on George Holani, I don't think they view that as a position of such a great need that they're going to have to, force a draft pick to supplement their backfield.
Hey, what is your opinion of Holani? I know, Wyman is very high on him. I've watched him, seen him out there practice, and I think he's a nice piece to have, but I guess I don't see him as your workhorse. I don't see him as that every down back, 20 carries a game, something like that. And I don't know that the Seahawks see that either, but as you said, they're high on him. What do you think his ceiling is? How do you view his role developing with this team?
Well, he's kind of an all-around guy, and we just haven't seen a whole lot of him, other than the last 3 games when he filled in pretty well, and you saw the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. John Schneider has raved about his pass protection, and he was what struck me while watching him in training camp was he seemed to have a little bit more burst than I remembered, and maybe I just didn't watch him closely enough his first year, but he seemed to have more of that burst than I realized. That said, he's not Ken Walker III, he's not Kenny McIntosh, so I still think that they need some of that, but Holani is, I think there's full confidence that he can be a number 2 for them, sort of along with Emmanuel Wilson, but I still think, again, they've got to find somebody who's capable of ripping off a big play, because they're missing that without Ken Walker.
Hey, Brady, moving over to another position group on offense. This was a big offseason for investing money at wide receiver. So with Shaheed back and with JSN locked up, how do you feel about that position right now?
Torrey Horton is sort of the X factor there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good group, even without Torrey Horton in there, but he just gives them another speed guy. And, I think there's some complementary skill sets in there where, JSN is sort of, the guy who can do a little bit of everything and do it at, as high a level as any other receiver in the NFL. Kupp is obviously your possession guy. And then, Rashid Shaheed is the speed guy. And then Torrey Horton, not as fast as Shaheed, but certainly capable, as you saw, of stretching the field and even, taking a punt back 95 yards for a touchdown. So I think there's some skill sets in there that really complement each other. And again, if they can get, I don't want to say a full season, but if Torrey Horton is on the kind of track, progressing from that injury that they seem to think, then that's a pretty deep and talented receiver core. And, it's just sort of, you got to see if Torrey Horton can stay healthy because, it wasn't just the shin injury last year. It was, the leg injury that cut short his college season. Remember, he missed some time, good bit of time in training camp with the ankle injury after, he sort of came on really strong in the offseason program. So his health is still kind of the wild card, but I think it's a pretty good receiver core with some skill sets that kind of complement each other.
By the way, did we ever get any clarity, Brady, on the shin injury? That's all I ever heard is just shin injury, but it kept him out for the remainder of the season. Do you know exactly what happened?
I don't. He said something at the Super Bowl that seemed to suggest it was maybe related to the college knee injury. And then John Schneider, I thought it was interesting. He told us when we talked to him yesterday, he said shins. It's in multiple shins. So, there's still not a ton of clarity on what exactly that was. Mike McDonald said, he got fixed up. I'm not really sure what that means, but there is kind of still some mystery, as there is a lot of times with injuries, as to exactly what happened. But they do seem to be hopeful about the progress he's making. I don't think it does. It doesn't sound like he's going to do a whole lot in the spring, but they sound confident that he's on track to be ready for training camp.
So, so moving on from him, and you just talked about the JSN deal. Do we expect to hear about a Devin Witherspoon deal sometime soon? Do you think that's further down the road? Where do you think they're at in those negotiations?
Yeah, I don't get the sense that it's imminent. I think that could be one that happens more on their kind of usual timeline for extensions, which, as you've seen over the years, they do a lot of those deals for extensions for guys who are already under contract. Those happen a lot of times. They happen, later in the summer. A lot of times it's, right around the start of training camp. And I would not be surprised. I wouldn't rule out that it happens before that, but I wouldn't be surprised if this one happens more on their usual timeline. JSN was a bit of an anomaly because we don't see them do a whole lot of those big extensions this time of the year. They typically like to, focus on free agency, get through free agency, then get through the draft. And then, later in the summer is when they really start working on those extensions. And I think that could be the timetable for Witherspoon.
Hey, Brady, I know when you guys are talking to Mike McDonald, he mentioned that they're going to tinker with their offseason program, kind of adjust to the long season they had. Do you have any sense of what that might be, just a later start, or what they might do to help accommodate that grinding, grueling, playing all the way into February this past year?
Yeah, so according to what Mike McDonald said, the off-season program technically starts April 20th. That's the date that teams that don't have first-time head coaches, that's when that starts, I believe. So that's when they're gonna have kind of younger guys who didn't play a lot, down the stretch, guys who really don't need, some extra time off, and also some of the guys coming off injuries that they want to. I think Mike McDonald said get their hands on to really, start rehabbing them with the team. Those guys are going to come back April 20th. And the veteran guys who really need that extra time off, he said they'll be working remotely for the first couple of weeks. So all those, team meetings that they would be in, those would be virtual, I guess it sounds like. And then, so it just gives those guys, another couple weeks of recovery, another couple weeks to, maybe enjoy some semblance of an off season, just because it goes by quickly, man. When you're playing all the way until February 9th, whatever it was, and you got the parade, you do not get a whole lot of downtime. And I think that's the idea there with pushing back the start of the off season program for some veteran guys.
Brady, we're going to be talking draft before we know it. Be down there at the VMAC, and round one will be going on. And as we sit right now, Seahawks with 4 picks. What's your feeling? I know it's always a wild card, especially when they're picking at the very end of the first round. Do you see them sticking? Last time they had this few number of picks, it was the D. Eskridge year, and they had 3 picks, and I was adamant. There's no way John Schneider just goes with 3 picks. He's going to turn that into 4, 5, 6, trade back, whatever. What do you think, just in terms of number of overall picks? Do you see them trading and accumulating more? Do you see them kind of sticking with what they currently have?
Yeah, my guess is they're going to have more than 4, but I also don't, I don't know if they love this draft enough to, want to turn 4 into, 7 or 8. So, right. What's interesting is, we all know like the history of, how much John Schneider likes to trade back in the first round or out of the first round. Believe it or not, he actually hasn't done that since 2019. Every year since then that they've had a first round pick, they have ended up making the pick in that spot. Now that hasn't always been, by design. I think in several times they've tried to, trade out of their spot and just the right deal hasn't come by. So that's always, kind of the wild card there is you can go into a draft sort of with the intention of moving out of a certain spot, but you still got to find the right deal. And I think he's shown that if the right deal isn't there, he's not just going to trade back for the sake of trading back. They'll make the pick there if they don't feel like the right deal is there. But yeah, my guess is they're going to end up with 4, but I wouldn't, I don't know if they're going to try to turn 4 into 8 or 9.
Brady, I know you were kind of narrowing down who the Seahawks could open against, and certainly we don't know yet. I don't want to put you on the spot and say who will they, but what are the options out there of who you think the Seahawks could open the season up against?
Yeah, so a bit of news yesterday from Clark Hunt, who's the Chiefs owner, was that he said it sounds like Kansas City is off the table for that Week 1 Seahawks opponent, and I think we can all surmise that the idea there is that Patrick Mahomes coming off the torn ACL may not be ready, so you may not want to you may not want to put a backup quarterback in prime time like that. And so I believe the remaining possibilities, I'm trying to do this off the top of my head, would be obviously a Super Bowl rematch with New England. You've got the Bears, Giants, Cardinals. I can't imagine the Cardinals would really be much of an option there. And then I can't remember the other 2 teams. But, with the 49ers and Rams playing in Melbourne in Week 1, those 2 teams are off the table. So of the 9 of the 9 teams the Seahawks are going to face at home, basically 3 of them have been ruled out. So you've got 6 possibilities. My guess is it's either going to be Chicago or New England.
Brady, as always, we appreciate it. Great stuff. Try to stay cool down there. I know it's very, very warm, so enjoy that, and we'll see you Thursday.
Yeah, you will. And it is a dry heat, as they say. I had to work that in there. So,
did you get some golf in, by the way?
See you guys later. Well, that's already been done. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Are you going to go golf now?
I got that taken care of on the front end.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he's on the 4th hole right now, joining us from the golf course. So
we don't want to keep you from that, but thank you, Brady.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you Thursday.
Okay, sounds good. See you guys. Thank you.
There you go. There's Brady Henderson of ESPN.com. He'll be filling in Thursday when we're down there at the Virginia Mason Athletics Center.
When we have more time, I will ask him. So there was a question that people were wondering. When he filled in with Brock about a month ago, Brock made it very awkward and tried to perhaps, induce a professional connection with one of his former female colleagues to help Brady out. So now people are wondering if that was made down there when they were both at the league meetings.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Trying to play matchmaker?
Yeah, as Brock is wont to do and be awkward about it and make everyone a little uncomfortable. But I think people were genuinely curious. So when Brady's on, we can ask him and see if he's willing to talk about it.
Brock being awkward? You must be joking. That never happens.
Never.
All right. Well, maybe we'll find out more about that on Thursday. Meanwhile, there was some good news and some confusing elements from the Mariners lineup last night. We'll get into that coming up next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
How do you like that?
2-1 to Cal. Swinging a shot over the bag at first. Fair ball. The Mariners win it. Here comes Leo Rivas to score. Cal Raleigh with a walk-off single.
After after walking it off in the opener. The Mariners send Logan Gilbert to the mound tonight in Game 2. Mariners-Yankees. First pitch 6:40, pregame at 5:30. You only need one app to get every Mariners game live for free. The Seattle Sports app.
Well, spring is all about getting ready for summer, isn't it? But do you have a room just sitting empty and you've dreamt of making it your own home gym? Hey, Brock Heward here, and working out in your own home, well, it is the best. We've been doing so for years, and you can allow Top Fitness to create your own home gym. Simply give them your room dimensions, and they'll do the rest. A complete fitness room design. It's no secret why everyone, from personal trainers to pro athletes, love Top Fitness. Top Fitness represents the very best brands in fitness, like Precor, Inspire Fitness, along with many others. They also have everything from flooring to weights that go in a home gym. And right now, get spring special financing with 0% interest for 12 months, plus mention me and receive an $150 credit towards any purchase over $1,000. Spring is here to get you in the best shape, so go get into Top Fitness with locations in Tukwila, Linwood, and Bellevue, or simply visit topfitness.com for more info. That's Top Fitness, your best place for home fitness equipment.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Will?
When I was 50, my whole life fell apart. I lost my job, I lost my wife, I lost the house, I lost pretty much everything except for my life. When the IRS came calling, I just didn't have it in me. I felt like Wile E. Coyote, just waiting for that IRS anvil to drop.
Then Will found tax relief advocates.
I heard their advertisement on the radio, I wrote down the number, and I made the call that changed everything. The IRS gave me a bill for $40,000. Tax Relief Advocates got that down to $3,200. I've paid 9 cents on the dollar. Now that's a great deal in anybody's book.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Will did and call TRA for a consultation.
But for me, the real win is I got my life back.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-488-2578. 800-488-2578. That's 800-488-2578.
Home is more than a place to live. It's where the best of life unfolds, where possibility sparks, where community grows, where lives take shape. At the Master Builders Association of King and Snohomish Counties, that belief drives the work our builders, remodelers, and tradespeople do every day. Because when we build more homes, we're building so much more than housing. We're making room for what matters most. Learn more at roomforwhatmatters.com.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Mariners, Yankees. Tonight at T-Mobile. First pitch at 6:40, 5:30 pregame. Hear every pitch live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
At Big Trees, you don't have to shop alone. Certified arborists are available to help you choose the right trees for your yard. Plus, each tree Big Trees installs offers a 1-year warranty and a free aftercare visit from our board-certified arborists. Come visit the nursery, no appointment necessary, and see our wide selection of species. You'll find the perfect fit for your landscape needs at Big Trees in Snohomish, or visit us online at bigtreesupply.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
And we're back. The big headline today. Your Washington Credit Union, WSECU, has done it again.
5 straight years as Forbes' best in-state credit union. That's a dynasty, Rick, like 5 straight championship rings.
Or 5 seasons hitting 400, Steve.
Holy catfish. If you want a team that wins year after year, join your Washington Credit Union, WSECU. Details at WSECU.org.
This hour of Wyman and Bob is brought to you by K2 Vision RLE.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports at 97.3 FM HD2.
Our thanks to Brady Henderson, who joined us in the previous segment. In case you guys just tuned in and missed that conversation, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Click the podcast tab, click on our picture, and it's right there waiting for you. Don't forget, click subscribe because it's totally free, and it just shows up for you every day. You don't have to worry about remembering it. Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. You want to weigh in what you heard from Brady, Seahawks on Hard Knocks. You want to continue with the geography text. You knew it was going to take on a life of its own.
It really has. Yeah, they're just kind of feasting on each other because I think the original point was missed that you said Dave is out there in San Francisco.
Is that what did I say over there, out there? I didn't even know what I said. Dave's in California.
It's out or over, but you were supposed to say down.
Yeah, that's what I was told.
And then I saw that San Francisco is west of Seattle.
So you made a point to correct the people that were complaining
because technically he
my
could go
verbiage.
Out instead of down. If it was just straight down, you're only going down. But you could go out and over.
So we've received a number, more texts on that than the Mariners and Seahawks. But the 425 said, one geographically challenged listener tells you L.A. and San Francisco are farther west than Seattle, and nobody bothers checking a map, and it gets repeated. Completely burgundy. Keep it classy, Seattle. And then in parentheses, San Francisco is 680 miles south of Seattle and 5 miles west.
If I believe that texter. But yeah, they just said 5 miles west of Seattle. So there we go. That's the whole point.
I love it. I love it so much. 866.
You think there's going to be some mean texts about geography on Friday? I think
100%. 100%. Some of them coming in today.
Yeah.
As we clarified at the beginning of the show, you are allowed to send in mean texts any day of the week. We just collect the best ones. That's all. Dave's still under the impression for some reason it's only Fridays that you're allowed to send those.
Send them down this way.
Yeah, send them down this way. That's exactly right. 866-979-3776. Meanwhile, the offense did just enough last night. Pitchers duel, absolute pitchers duel. It was tied 1-1 forever. Bottom of the ninth. Here comes Cal Raleigh. He drives in the winning run. They win 2-1. You look at it, Mariners went 3 for 11 with runners in scoring position. They stranded 11 left on base. So the offense, look, you're going up against good pitching. The Yankees came in hot. Obviously, they're off to a very good start. They were 3-0, all 3 wins on the road. Yankees are going to be, barring major injuries, they're going to be one of those teams, along with the Blue Jays and the Mariners, that everybody's keeping an eye on as the front runner to win the AL. So that was a hell of a job last night. Brendan Donovan continues just to rake. He's on fire to start the season. 2 for 4 last night with a walk. He did commit an error again. And this is not an I told you so, because I didn't say he was going to be a bad third baseman. I just said I'm curious. What does he look like there? And people took that as a diss or a disrespect of some level, saying, you don't think he can play? He's a Gold Glove winner. And I'm like, I'm just saying the majority of his career has been spent at second base, and then the next closest is the outfield. He's got very little time at third base. This is a new spot for him. So he's committed 2 errors in 5 games. Are you worried about that? What's your takeaway from what you've seen from him defensively to this point?
It's going to be an acclimation process, but I think now with the Colt Emerson news, if you do get to the point where you're worried about it, you have an option. You could bring Colt Emerson up, put him over at third, And that might be what happens, The original plan
Donovan?
last year.
He's just
you
part
put him
of
at
the
second.
DH.
Well, and then
Cole
it
Young's
gets
on
interesting.
fire.
Yeah, and you could be Colt Young as more of a regular. We can kind of dive into it. I think it's fun. It's a fun puzzle to solve because you could put Cole Young as more of a regular DH. So if you have a right-handed starter, maybe he's the DH now moving forward, and it pushes either Canzone or Rayleigh out. Rayleigh, perhaps you keep in right field. Cole Young becomes essentially your everyday DH against a right-handed starter. And then with a lefty, maybe it's Refsnyder and Cole Young gets the day off. But if it becomes an issue with Donovan, you can always slide him back to second if you feel like Colt Emerson is ready and can come up and play third. So I'm not as concerned as last year when it felt like, well, Jorge Polanco's the plan at third. Oh, no, he's not. There's not really a backup. And they had to really get through it until Ben Williamson came up. So I feel a lot better about third right now than I did last year. And if it continues with Donovan, then yeah, maybe a move will happen. But that's the growing pains of kind of learning a new position, essentially day in and day out for the first time.
Yeah, I don't know if, Cole Young's the other part of this conversation. And again, we're going on 5 games, so it's the smallest of sample sizes. I'm not taking him out versus a lefty right now. He's hitting 500. He's 3 for 6 against lefties so far in the early part of the season. Now, is he going to hit that all year? No, and maybe he starts to struggle. We'll see. But he's been a nice bright spot. 3 for 4 last night. Drove in a run. He's got a nice 333 batting average, and I love that this is the time of year where your average can fluctuate by 150 points based on one way or the other based on the game. You go 3 for 4, you go 0 for 4. Just the dramatic swing. So take it for what it's worth. But it's worth pointing out a guy that came up, had some success, then really hit a lull and didn't finish the way you wanted and seemed overmatched last year. More importantly, he's not getting beat by the fastball. And you saw that a lot last year. He just seemed overmatched. He was behind. Bat seemed a little bit slow. He just, I know he changed his body, changed how he approached himself physically in the offseason. I think you're seeing some of the results of that. He looks very good defensively. He's not getting beat by the fastball. So I'm excited to see what the rest of the season looks like for him. I mean, it's a nice start. It's 5 games. We'll see where it goes. But so far, you got to really enjoy what you've seen out of Cole Young.
And he's come through in big situations. So all 4 of his runs that he's driven in have come with 2 outs. And yesterday in a game like that where you did not want to waste that inning. Mm-hmm. Offense was very difficult to come by. The Mariners had the first 2 on, couldn't do anything else. It would have been deflating to go through there, not get runs, expecting that the Yankees were going to put up runs and knowing that every run was critical. So to see Cole Young come through there, very impressive. And when we get the top of the order producing, the top to middle of the order, the fact that he's batting in that 8 or 9 spot, able to turn it back over to them, that's going to be massive.
Yeah. Dan Wilson, after the game last night, was talking about Cole Young and just his approach at the plate against lefties.
I think just not trying to do too much. He's got great pop. We've seen it. He can drive the ball to the ballpark. But I think, tonight off those lefties, I think he was just trying to stay middle, hit the ball on the line. And he got in front of the one to get the double. But for the most part, was just staying there in the middle of the field and trying to hit line drives. And I think really sort of we talk about him being young, but that's a pretty wise approach, off a couple of tough lefties. And I give him a lot of credit.
Yeah, he's looked good. I'm excited for the way he started. Hopefully it continues throughout the season. We'll see what goes on. But I can't help, Mike, but think this is all gravy. This is gold for this lineup right now because you've got all of the other pieces outside of the main pieces that we talked about, the Cal, Julio, Naylor. Those are your bats. Those are your production guys coming into the season. That's where the spotlight is the brightest. And to a lesser extent, Randy Arozarena, who's off to a nice start, getting on base. Obviously, Brendan Donovan has been fantastic. But seeing guys like Rayleigh, Canzone, Cole Young, even Rivas last night with a base hit. I mean, seeing these guys chip in the way that they have and find that success, find that confidence, more importantly. Once those other guys get going, man, this lineup is just where's the hole? It feels like coupled with that pitching staff, that rotation, this team is really freaking good.
And think of the guys who have hit home runs so far this year. I wouldn't consider Brendan Donovan or Cole Young as part of that power group. The Mariners are tied for the second most home runs hit this season. They have 8. They have gotten 0 from Julio, from Naylor, from Cal, and from Arozarena.
Yeah.
And they have 8 already. So Luke Raley has provided that power. Brendan Donovan has 2. Canzone has been there with a couple. And then Cole Young hitting home runs. So when you're getting that, it's a lot to be excited about, despite not getting your big bat production yet, and you're 3-2 to start the season.
Yeah, I would think that gives you more confidence than, well, Cal, Julio, and Naylor are doing their thing, and they're hitting home runs. Yeah, that you're going to feel good about that. But they've got a resume, right? You can sort of count on what they're going to be pretty closely. You know what you're going to get out of those guys. It's just these are the unknowns to me that are coming through. We didn't know what Brendan Donovan was going to look like. He certainly has a track record, but this is his first go-round as a Mariner. Does it take him a while to get acclimated? He's going from the National League to the American League, and I know there's interleague play, but it's not like he's played in Seattle a ton. How does he adjust? Seems to have adjusted just fine and hit the ground running. So just getting some of the unknowns in that lineup going versus the knowns, if you will, because they're going to find it. It's exciting to sort of daydream and look forward and project forward about what this lineup. I know we always harp on the pitching staff for good reason because they're amongst the best in all of baseball when they're healthy. But this lineup feels like it's going to be very formidable, and it's exciting to project forward with it. So we'll certainly keep an eye on all the other guys outside of Cal and Julio and Naylor. Meanwhile, make sure to download the Seattle Sports app where you can listen to every Mariners game all season long. One app. Completely free. Enjoy every pitch of Rick Rizz's final season. By God, take those in because we're going to miss it when it's gone. I'll tell you what, all in one place at no cost. It's the easiest way to enjoy Seattle Mariner baseball. And I did mention, I think, that it is free. So go ahead and download that Seattle Sports app if you haven't already. Meanwhile, the Yankees had a big advantage in one aspect of last night's game. We're going to talk about that coming up next with Wyman and Bob. It's Seattle Sports on 710.
How do you like that?
2-1 to Cal. Swinging a shot over the bag at first. Fair ball. The Mariners win it. Here comes Leo Rivas to score. Cal Raleigh with a walk-off single.
After walking it off in the opener, the Mariners send Logan Gilbert to the mound tonight in Game 2. Mariners-Yankees. First pitch 6:40, pregame at 5:30. You only need one app to get every Mariners game live for free. The Seattle Sports app.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
When you see a Gravely mowing the grass, you're looking at over 100 years of ingenuity in action. You're seeing a rugged, durable machine professional lawn service companies have relied on for generations. Or maybe you see a homeowner who demands the best, cutting their own lawn like the pros, whether mowing or on a trailer between jobs. When you see a Gravely, you're seeing greatness at work. Take your lawn mowing up a notch with a Gravely. See the full line at your local dealer.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi,
Hi, Flo here from Progressive. You know, life changes quickly, so it's good to have flexible coverage.
Oh, you mean like adding another vehicle?
Yes, that's something we can do.
Great, because I was thinking about getting a van so we could just keep the kids' softball stuff in the car.
Oh, we don't need to get into specifics. Just saying it's easy to change.
Oh, and Hannah wants to try the tuba.
Again, we don't need the specifics.
Last year, she wanted to be a tap dancer, but that only lasted 2 lessons.
Okay.
But she kept the shoes because they are adorable.
Well, just know that with Progressive, you can easily add another car to your auto insurance because we know life changes.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Mariners, Yankees. Tonight at T-Mobile. First pitch at 6:40, 5:30 pregame. Hear every pitch live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Do you like helping others? Become a Shiva volunteer in Whatcom County. Join the hundreds of volunteers across Washington state who help over 90,000 people each year with their Medicare options and questions. You don't have to know Medicare. We'll teach you. And if you're bilingual, even better. For more information and how to apply, call Shiva at 1-800-562-6900 or go to insurance.wa.gov.
Sponsored by the Office of the Insurance Commissioner and aired by the Washington State Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Brandy Cruz. Hey, Brandy, why? Why First Mark Insurance?
Service. I wondered for a second whether I was getting the VIP treatment, and I kind of asked, hey, is this what you do for everyone? And they're like, of course. The whole First Mark Challenge is meant to be personal, right? So it really is tailored and meant to be a personal experience for every single person. I will say I've just done whatever is the quickest and cheapest type of insurance, and I realized while I was doing it, wow, this is what it feels like to get insurance as a real adult. We had a million questions, and they walked us through every step of the process, and then they're working for you. So they're not working for insurance companies, they're working for you. To experience that level of service really shows you what the difference is with First Mark.
Brandy did it. My family did it. You got to do it. It's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge. See how much money they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
The Mariners are all about giving you more baseball for your buck. With Mariners Value Games, you can score seats for less than $12 on select dates all season long. Plus, be sure to check out the biggest ever value menu and beer lineup. Available every game and featuring 36 items, from ballpark classics like hot dogs, nachos, and refillable sodas to canned brews starting at just $5. Go to mariners.com/value to grab your value game tickets and check out the full slate of value options at T-Mobile Park.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Any more geography texts there, Lefko?
Yeah, I'm impressed by the persistence. I will say that.
As soon as you counter.
And the unwillingness to admit when you're wrong.
Yeah, well, come on, pot, meet kettle. Huh, Matt? Matt knows what I'm saying.
Look at him laughing. It's the hardest he's laughed all day. Wow.
Text line is there for you, at 866.
Just for that, I'm going to go sit in the other room for this segment, bother you.
It was worth it for that.
866-979-3776. Something that was, I thought, very interesting last night, and I enjoyed it. I know some people were getting annoyed because it was going in favor of the Yankees, but I just enjoyed this. We talked about ABS yesterday. First of all, I love it. It's very fast. It's very fast. It's not killing the game. It's not taking momentum away. It's not breaking a rhythm. It is really quick, and you're getting the right call. But it worked in favor of the Yankees, who were wildly aggressive with it last night in innings that didn't. I mean, you're talking. I think the first one was in the second inning.
Third inning. So
third inning, Caballero.
It was in the third and the fourth. They used all of them,
and nobody was on base.
Right.
And you're going, really? You're going to use that here, huh? And Caballero, of course, he was the first one this season to use it, and was wrong. Yeah. But they challenged 5 total calls last night, got all 5 overturned. They were 5 for 5. I loved it. I mean, I don't like it going against the Mariners, but I just love that you have that opportunity. There were cases where I saw the Mariners, just looking at the replay of the pitch, like, Man, that would be one of the challenges. I'd like to see them maybe get a little more aggressive with it.
Yeah, that's the two things that I took away from that were, okay, some umpire's just going to rage quit in the middle of a game. It's really frustrated. The umpire last night, I mean, clearly there's an adjustment that has to be made, and you do wonder, okay, will they be able to maybe adjust a couple innings later? It was that same low pitch that he was missing on Castillo. So I kind of appreciated that, hey, you recognize that something was wrong. It wasn't like it was wildly all over the zone. It was just that one pitch. Wasn't too mad about it, you're right, because it was clearly low, and it was the same spot, but then you feel bad for the umpire. He's just not seeing that well. So I kind of wonder if he's going to adjust. But yeah, what you were saying, I more took away from the fact is, all right, are the Mariners going to become more aggressive after seeing a team like the Yankees do that so successfully? Or when you look around the league and the Reds were able to, with Gino Suarez, challenge back-to-back pitches and get them correct. Contrast that to the Mariners. Their hitters did not challenge anything last night, and you had a situation that was a clearly bad call for Mitch Garver, but a 3-0 count, so okay, you don't need to. And then one with Robles that did strike him out, but it's early in the game, and I'm sure that directive has been laid out there. We're not going to do it this early in the game or in this situation when no one's on base. But seeing how successful the Yankees were, I do kind of think, all right, are the Mariners going to adapt with their philosophy and start to be a little more aggressive in utilizing challenges?
I'm wondering what the directive is from Aaron Boone. I wonder if he just tells the team, look, challenge whatever you want.
Well, his guys are savages in the box. Remember that?
You better be right.
Yeah.
Because they're doing it early. They're doing it in situations that have no consequence attached to it other than keeping the AB alive. But it's not like you have a runner on third and there's 2 outs and you're trying to drive them in, and that's the difference of the inning ending or the AB continuing. Nobody on base, third inning. You're going, wow, you're going to – but then I look down, I'm going, well, it is Caballero, so he's kind of a wild card. But you saw everybody doing it, so I was just like, all right, is that just sort of the directive? Which maybe a lot of managers are going to have that position. Like, if you're certain – I'm putting it on you. I'm trusting you, the catcher, the hitter. I know that most teams don't want the pitchers making that challenge, but you better be right.
Yeah, and it was all hitters, too.
Yeah.
There's no challenges from the catcher when the Yankees were on defense. I will say you could take away a little bit of a competitive advantage because it doesn't get to the pitcher necessarily, but why yield? Why give him something free when he didn't earn it? So Castillo, in his mind, he's like, all right, strikeout. Wait, no? Okay. And maybe it gets in the back of his head, like, that's kind of frustrating. Then he misses another one. All right, well, now I have to come back and throw another pitch that I thought I was out of. So there's no downside from the perspective of someone like Aaron Boone if he is giving his hitters that leeway. The downside, and we've talked about it, is if you're in the 8th or 9th inning and you're out of challenges and there's a blatantly wrong call, you're not going to have one. And so the Mariners have erred on the side of caution with that. But again, they had a game where they didn't use any of their challenges last night. Ultimately, does it matter if you win? No. But in seeing how it can alter one at bat or one inning, and maybe Castillo having to throw 2 more pitches had he not been as effective, is out of the game earlier.
Yeah.
All those little things could play into it. And it is a fascinating topic that I don't know why some people are annoyed with it. I think it's another added wrinkle and element of strategy that's going to make baseball even more interesting this season.
I love it. I love it. I love seeing it last night, and I was just with everyone. I'm like, damn, they got that right again. Wow, got that right again.
It was impressive. Yeah. I was impressed. I was like, I'm happy for the Yankees here in a funny sort of way.
Good eye up there, man. I mean, that's just it. I feel like if I were the manager, I don't know that I would try to. I don't know. Maybe they have some guy like, look, we're not doing this if we're only down by 1 and it's before the 5th inning, or maybe they have some directives out there. I feel like most managers might just be along the lines of what I said before. Challenge whatever you want, but you better make sure you're right. If you're going to challenge a strike 3 call in the 1st inning or the 2nd inning, there's no score, or we're down by 1 run and it's that early, you better be right.
Yeah.
Because then the green light goes away after that. So you sort of earn this. Jeff Passan on with Brock and Salk was asked if he thinks ABS will be able to help adjust an umpire strike zone in the middle of a game.
I think we're about to find out. And I don't know if the human brain has the capacity to react and change that quickly. I imagine with some umpires, we're going to see that. And it's going to be super interesting. This is the sort of thing that my T-brain can't do either. But there are analysts who are going to be able to look through the data and see if there are real-time changes. I hope the answer is yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you wonder if Easterbrook last night, who was behind the plate, Mike Easterbrook, did he alter his strike zone? Because each one of the 5 were the low call. It was right below the strike zone. It was super close. I mean, it wasn't like this guy's missing by a mile. I mean, some super close pitches. And again, credit to the Yankee hitters. But I don't know, did he alter it in the middle of the game?
Or maybe going forward. So in that game, low is an issue, and maybe he goes back and knows, like, okay, well, I want to take a different look at a pitch like that because you're going to see pitches like that again. So who knows if he'll be able to do it in game, maybe as the season goes along. But ultimately, this is to get it right. It's not to show people up. It's hilarious, yes, when it happens to CB Buckner, but it's to get the correct call on the field. Yeah. So if they're humbled in the process, great. But it's to get it right, and if it helps that umpire last night moving forward, great. All the better.
How'd the Colt Emerson deal happen, and what happens next for him? We're going to ask Ryan Divish of the Seattle Times about all of that and more. He's going to join us next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
Brock and Salk.
Brock, you knew I was not going to get long before I was going to talk about Luke Raley.
Morning 6 to 10.
He hit the snot out of the ball all weekend long.
He was a 3.5 win player, correct, in 2024?
Him and Canzone and Cole Young, like all those guys aren't being asked to carry them much weight. On a weekend where Julio and Cal and Naylor do next to nothing, those guys are perfectly capable of it. I think that's awesome.
Brock and Salk on the home of your American League West champion Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at People Come First, or PCF Construction Group. Spring and summer, it's right around the corner. So if you haven't called PCF about getting started on your new deck, well, right now is the time. With a patio cover, heater, and fireplace from PCF, you can enjoy your outdoor deck or patio all year long. And right now, you can get up to $6,000 off your entire project, plus no payments and no interest until 2027. Save an additional $1,500 when you bundle your deck and patio cover. Some restrictions do apply, but do what we did. Contact PCF for all the details and start planning and designing your dream deck now so you're ready to build by the spring. Planning and permits, they can take a little time, so please don't wait. Get started today. Get project ideas, browse photos, and find all the offer details at PCFgroup.com. That's PCFgroup.com.
Making your outdoor space with People Come First.
Olympic Hot Tub has terrific ways to achieve total wellness at home. Saltwater hot tubs, swim spas, saunas, and cold plunges, all waiting for you. See our current specials with exciting savings at olympichottub.com. Better you, better life.
Seattle Sports has your last shot to participate in the madness. Head to seattlesports.com/win to fill out your 4-team bracket. It's one final chance to join in on the Seattle Sports Bracket Bucks, presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort. And the winner of the 4-team competition will win a $250 Visa gift card. Register and find complete rules at seattlesports.com/win. Seattle Sports Bracket Bucks, presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Drivers who switch their home and auto with Progressive could save money and time. Other things try to do this, but they really don't. Like the touchscreen at fast food places. It's not like you save time because it takes you longer to use a touchscreen than, I don't know, someone who works there. And another thing, you'd think it would save money because they're not paying a cashier, right? But no, same price. Also, why is there an option to tip? Who am I tipping? Exactly. Anyway, even if you can't save money and time with some things, you could with a Progressive home and auto bundle. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states or situations.
I need a little range, step to the range.
There's a new flavor in town, the Jalapeno Ranch Club at Chick-fil-A. With that juicy Chick-fil-A original spicy or grilled chicken, a buttermilk ranch bun, candied bacon, pepper jack cheese, and jalapeno ranch sauce. It's got big ranch vibes with a little heat. Chick-fil-A's new Jalapeno Ranch Club, available for a limited time only. Order ahead on the Chick-fil-A app.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You could file your taxes on a basic free service, which is fine.
But are you okay with fine? Because when it's your money on the line, do you really want to guess if you missed a credit or hope the math is right? Get the confidence of TurboTax for free right on the Intuit Credit Karma app. Free Fed and free state for simple 1040s only. Around 37% of filers qualify. See details at turbotax.com/free. No schedules except for EITC, CTC, student loan interest, and Schedule 1A.
Are you an adult with uncontrolled moderate to severe Crohn's disease symptoms and still packing a backup bag of clothes? Just in case? Skyrizi Risankizumab Risa can help you take control of your Crohn's. Feel significant symptom relief, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements at 4 weeks. Plus, Skyrizi is proven to help people achieve remission and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Individual results may vary. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's. Ready to take control of your Crohn's? Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's disease.
Control is everything to me.
Learn more at skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Taking a look at your baseball scoreboard right now. No score between the Orioles and Rangers in the bottom of the second in Baltimore. Meanwhile, the same is true for the Marlins and White Sox in the top of the second in Miami. No score between the Reds and Pirates in Cincinnati. That one in the top of the second, as well as the top of the second being played in Philadelphia. No score between the Nationals and the Phillies. Meanwhile, games still to come. You've got the Giants and Padres, Diamondbacks hosting the Tigers, Astros hosting the Red Sox, and of course the Mariners hosting the New York Yankees. Game 2 of that series, Logan Gilbert on the hill for the M's. He faces off against Max Fried. You can catch it all right here, starting at 5:30 with the pregame show, 6:40 first pitch. Seattle Sports on 710.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Mariners get back to it tonight. Game 2 of their 3-game series against the New York Yankees in town. Again, pregame right here starting at 5:30. But the bigger news today concerning the Mariners was the deal signed by Colt Emerson and the team. One we'll talk about right now with a man who does a great job covering the team for the Seattle Times. He's with us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Our buddy Ryan Divish is with us. How are you, man?
I'm good. How about you guys? I'm trying to stay warm. It's a little warmer today. It's not warm, but it's a little warmer today.
Boy, that press box gets cold. That's a weird spot of the stadium, man, where it's colder in there than it is out in the seats.
Well, when the wind is blowing and the roof is open, it kind of blows right into the press box. So it's like, yeah, it's not enjoyable. I got, when you break your hand 5 times, 5 or 6, I think I'm at 6 now, it gets a little arthritic, so that kind of weather doesn't work very good for me. So I had to actually go in the back of the press box so I could write because I couldn't type very well last night.
Yeah, it was a little nippy out there. But hey, Ryan, what was your? I was saying before, typically when deals happen, whether it's a trade, a signing, an extension, whatever, you kind of very often, more often than not, at least, hear whispers off the record. You hear a little chatter about it. I didn't hear a peep about this Colt Emerson thing at all, and if anybody did, it would be you. Had you heard whispers that this was in the works or that the team was pursuing this? Anything?
No, I hadn't heard anything about that. I mean, I know they had said that they were looking at some extensions, and they were mostly the pitchers, Logan Gilbert, Brian Wu. That's what I had heard, and I hadn't heard anything about Colt Emerson. From what it sounds like, it came together pretty fast. It was just something where they had kind of broached this, I'm sure, sent out a floater of an idea to his agents at Aces, and then at some point Colt probably just said, yeah, I think I'd rather do that, or I'm down to do that. And then once you kind of hear go from the player or from the agents, then you start to work on it. But yeah, I had no idea. Like I mean, the news broke at like 6:30 this morning. I'm pretty sure I woke up a few people in the Mariners front office texting them, trying to figure out and get confirmation on the deal. But yeah, I mean, it just wasn't something that we thought about. You know, like with Cal, you always kind of knew it was coming, or you know, it was going to be broached, and then like, you know, I mean, it just like even with the pitchers, we always kind of assumed that's what they were going to do, is look at locking up Logan or Brian Wu for the next 6 years, and that's not what the case was.
Hey, Ryan, how does this change the timeline, if it does at all, to bring up Colt?
Well, they say it doesn't. I mean, like they said that, you know, the people I've talked to within the Mariners said that this doesn't affect his development plan or whatever, or when he gets brought up, you know, that they still want him to just go down there and play and produce. And then when the opportunity presents itself or the need presents itself, then they'll make that decision. But, you know, that you look at the roster too, it's finding a way for him to play. I mean, you're not bringing him up unless he's going to play minimum of 5 times a week. And, you know, that's something they have to do. I think they would prefer to have him just like be scorching hot down in Tacoma, you know, get in about 40 or 50 games and then come through. I mean, you know, I think they called up Cole Young a little bit around that time last year. It's hard to remember. Maybe that was Ben Williamson, but, you know, I think that they do want him to get some games at AAA under his belt so he can, you know, be in a good place mentally when he comes up, mentally and physically.
What do you think of the deal overall? Because we were talking about it, Ryan, and to me it feels like a win for both sides. They both take a gamble, right? Colt gambles that he may turn into a superstar, and at which point he'll be wildly underpaid, versus the Mariners who take a gamble that he turns into the next Evan White. And, you know, they commit to a guy who has yet to step on a major league field in a real game, and he just doesn't produce or live up to it. So it just feels like they both gamble, but they both show belief at the same time. But what's your takeaway from the overall deal?
Yeah, I mean, like so often in these situations, you know, especially a trade or whatever, you always have to have a winner or a loser. But both sides can be winners in this, and I think they are. You know, you're talking about Colt gets generational kind of wealth at 20 years old. And the thing is, yeah, he could be a superstar at 28, but that's when they have a club option for 29. He'd still be 29 when he enters free agency. I mean, that's, you know, like Alex Bregman's 32 and just got how much money? So he can still make money if he's, you know, healthy and playing well at 29 and producing. He'll still make plenty of good money out there. So, like, you know, that in that sense, it isn't prohibitive to him. And then for the Mariners, like, if he is what they believe he is, then, you know, when he's 26, 25, 26, 27, 28, they're not paying like high market value, because like, what is Lindor making? $30 million a year. What is, you know, the Mets just gave Bo Bichette like $40 million a year. Like, what could a shortstop be worth 6 or 7 years from now, especially one that's performing at a high level? You know, obviously the CBA and the possible work stoppage and all that lingers. You know, is there going to be a salary cap? I don't think there will be, but would there be changes to the CBA that would be limiting to him or, you know, hurt him in some way? So I think getting this done now, I think it just provides security. Yeah, it's a risk. I mean, Evan White was a good player, but they didn't commit $100 million. They committed $24 million to him.
Right.
And the circumstances around Evan White were different. He had some personal issues in terms of, you know, his family. His mom was dealing with cancer. I think his grandmother was dealing with cancer. They wanted some money, some financial security for him and for his family so they could do some treatment and stuff like that. So that's one of the reasons why he was open to doing it, and I think went to the Mariners to talk about a longer extension. You know, obviously a lot of the comparisons are to Jackson Churio, or you know, he's the one most notable that never had any experience. That seems to be working out okay for the Brewers. So I think the big thing, you know, like the Mariners approached Jared Kelenic about a deal without him ever playing in the big leagues, and, you know, he turned it down. And this is probably the deal Jared Kelenic was actually looking for. They didn't give him quite this much. They offered him quite a bit less. But, yeah, I think the Mariners trust Colt Emerson, the person, as much as they trust the player. Like, he's the most grown-up 20-year-old I've ever met. I mean, I'm not even a grown-up at 50, so, like, I legitimately feel immature around Colt Emerson and how he goes about his business. I think that's a big part of it, is like they trust the person. They know you're giving him this money, and I'm sure there's a pretty sizable signing bonus. He's not going out and buying 6 Ferraris with it. He's going to go and take BP 1,000 times. That's just kind of who he is and what he's about. I think that's big for the Mariners, and that's why they did this.
Ryan, what does this contract mean for J.P. Crawford in the short term? Not at the end of the year when his contract's up, but now here at the start of this season.
Well, it could be a little awkward tonight in Tacoma with JP making Cole move out of shortstop so he can play there. JP's starting his rehab tonight, so I don't know. I think they have every intention of bringing JP back. My guess is he's going to play tonight, tomorrow, possibly Thursday, and then join the Mariners on Friday in Anaheim, and he'll be reinstated from the injured list, and he'll take over. I mean, but the one thing is like it's going to be looming there that if he doesn't produce, if he struggles, or whatever, and Colt's down there producing at Tacoma, then it's a very real possibility that they can bring him up. I mean, it was a real possibility they could do the same even if Colt didn't have the contract extension. So I think, and I think JP knows that like this could be it for him with this team. He understands how the business works. I mean, he watched Ty France get let go. He's seen how it works. So I think he's just kind of trying and go about playing and trying to win with this team right now. And then, whatever happens. Cause I think that's one thing is like JP, has that feeling of like he might not be around, but I certainly know that he wants to try and win a World Series while he is here. And I think that'll be his focus more than anything.
Hey, talking about what we've seen so far through 5 games with this team, what's your – I've been saying the silver lining to the struggles of Naylor and Julio and Cal is seeing the other guys that aren't the marquee players, Cole Young, obviously, and Dom Canzone and Luke Raley, and to a lesser extent, obviously, Randy Arozarena is more in that other group. But seeing them come through while the middle is struggling just because you know what you're going to get from those guys – the idea that these guys hit the ground running the way that they have and develop that rhythm and, more importantly, maybe the confidence, this lineup, when those guys get going, is deep. It's long. It's a reason to be optimistic, I would say, at the very least, if we're looking at a situation that's not great with the middle struggling. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, a year ago, they don't win any of those games, right?
Yeah.
Even with the pitching performances, they probably lose all those games. 2 years ago, they definitely lose all those games because they didn't have anybody in the bottom part of the order. It was just strikeouts and bad at bats. Now they have real guys down there with real power that can do real damage. You throw Donovan at the top, it's just a different look. Like they're winning game. They won that game last night without hitting a home run. It was funny that they won some. Everybody's worried about them not hitting home runs, and first 3 games, that's all they're doing is hitting home runs. But like. You can see the value that they have in Cole Young, Dom Canzone, even Robles in his platoon spot. Hell, Leo Rivas had a couple of really big hits. Like their lineup is just that much deeper. Their roster is that much better than it ever has been. I mean, like they're just different ways to score runs, and it's not totally reliant on Cal hitting a homer or Julio hitting a homer. I think that's the big thing. I mean, like, you can withstand a lot of things. And even just having the presence of those guys at the top of the order means something. Cal's gotten, 3 hits this spring or this season. 2 of them have driven in runs. Julio's gotten 1 hit, but it was a pretty big one in a clutch situation. So, I mean, I think those guys will get going. But, yeah, it's been pretty – I mean, like the line or the depth and of the lineup has pretty much been as advertised in the sense that the bottom of the order guys are doing stuff for them.
Ryan, we were throwing this out today with the WBC, and you can make the correlation of Cal goes to play in WBC. He struggles. I know it's not apples to apples, but do you think that going to do all of that had an impact on Cal in this start to his season?
I don't think it helped in the sense that, like, Cal is such a creature of habit, and he's such a workhorse that, like, going to the WBC and working on that limited schedule, that wasn't ideal for him. Like, and I talked to him a little bit about it, but just like they just had so much downtime and so much time where they weren't at the park. Because you got to remember, they're at major league parks when they're doing this. So it's not like Cal can go to a minor league game and get 8 at bats. He can't go and sit for an hour and hit off the trajectory machine or have coaches. Like, they only had the allotted time that they could use the field for. And, and the rest of the time you're just kind of waiting. And I think you throw in the fact that he didn't really face, he played in the one game, then he sat 2, then comes back. Like, he went 5 days without an at bat, a live at bat. That's not who he is. He's a guy that wants to play. His motion, his lotion. He wants to play because he needs the timing. He's got not just one swing but 2 swings. So I do think it had an effect. He came back and wanted to pull. He came back the first day and was like asked to be a DH in that game, and then the next day he played in a minor league game and got 8 at bats, and he did some more of that kind of stuff. It was like me during finals week, just cramming to try and learn a whole semester of history in like 2 days, like that, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work, and so it's like I think he's played enough games now, and he's starting to get the rhythm. I think we'll start to see him get his timing back. And I mean, Naylor had the same issues too. He played all the time, but it's still just kind of, it starts and stops, whereas these guys just kind of like a steady pace all the time. And I think that's an issue. It's not the games, it's the lack of practice time and stuff, because like even on days when those guys are in spring training, they might not be in a game. They're at the complex and doing all the pregame work and doing all their work. They're lifting everything else and all their hitting and getting all the work in, even if they're not playing in the game that day.
Ryan, what's your takeaway of Brendan Donovan? I mean, obviously at the plate he's been phenomenal. Had a couple of miscues in the field very early, but I'm not sure how much concern you had with him at third base, but based on what you've seen, what's your feeling?
Oh, I think I figured there would be a little bit of some growing pains there, just at third base. It's like it's just a different angle. Also, you're going from Arizona where the ground is hard. Grass is super dry. It's just pretty much everything plays like turf. Now you're up here, it's wet, it's a little bit off. I thought maybe the throw the other night where he threw it across his body, he should have just put that ball in his pocket. I talked to him about it. He just said he didn't have a good grip on it, but he thought he could still make the play, throwing across, and even when he didn't have the good grip, that's more of a decision than a physical error. The one last night, it was kind of a tough hop. It was hit relatively hard, obviously, like somebody that's a little more seasoned. I mean, we've seen Kyle Seager and Gino Suarez make that play 1,000 times, but that's because they've done it 1,000 times. I think we'll see, similar to like Gino when he first got here, that Donovan will improve with the constant work from Perry Hill as the season goes on. Like when Gino first got here, he was not a great third baseman, but he got better because he believed in the work. And I mean, you guys have been around Donovan. It's not like it's a question of he's not going to put the work in or not, And I think honestly, if you're getting 450 on base right now from him, I think you'll take it and you'll swallow the errors a couple times if you have to.
Hey, Ryan, we saw 2 extremes last night with the ABS challenges. The Yankees, that kind of freakish 5 for 5, and then the Mariners, they did not challenge anything. Do you think we might see them become more aggressive or adjust their philosophy if more and more teams start to be a little more, I guess, casual with it like the Yankees were?
Yeah, I think so. I think, and part of it is it's having a scouting report, too, on the umpires and the pitcher you're facing and stuff. You can look that stuff up. And so the Yankees, it seemed very clear that they felt like Castillo was getting the low strike and that Estabrook was going to call the low strike because it was almost immediate. Like it was almost like they were looking for it. So, I mean, that's part of the scouting, too, knowing what like with C.P. Buckner, it's just flip a coin. You don't know what's going to happen. But, some of these other guys, it's a little different. I think they will be. I think there is some hesitancy from some guys. Like Robles obviously should have traveled or challenged, but at the same time, it was like, given the situation, maybe you don't. They think the Mariners are just holding it. Like waiting to play those cards late with the runner on. It's a third strike, stuff like that. And you know what? Sometimes one pitch can change the whole at bat, even early in the game, and can change the whole inning. We've seen that already happen this year. So they shouldn't be afraid to do it. I know that they prefer to have their catchers do it when their pitchers are going. I mean, I thought Randy's was very on brand for his challenge halfway down the base, looking backward. Are you kidding me? I'm going to challenge this. No, I think we'll see him increase more. I do think they're studying it too, and a lot of teams are. But I think the one thing would be wise is like, hey, go back and look at these umpires and where do they miss consistently out of zone, or where, is there inefficiencies in their ball strike calling? Where do they have tendencies to miss at, and be ready for those to challenge them right away?
Hey, I want to bring you back to the extensions we were talking about earlier, and you talked about, we're all waiting for the pitchers to be locked up, and much of the conversation here has been, well, all right, they're not going to re-sign all 4 guys, which if they're going to sign 2, which 2 is it? Everybody's got a different opinion, but it sounds like you feel like if they do re-sign 2 of them or sign them to extensions, it would be Logan and Wu, you believe?
Well, I think with Logan, he just has, he's been their guy, and he's kind of the poster boy for everything they are as pitchers. He's got such a strong relationship with Cal and some of the other guys that, I think they'd want to get something done. The problem, what makes it tougher to Logan is he's within 2 years of free agency. He can see it, Next year will be his walk year. And that could, what do they do there? Dylan Cease kind of messed up everything. Max Fried, some of these guys getting that much money. I mean, I don't think that Logan Gilbert has any interest of signing an extension unless the first 3 numbers are 1, 5, and 0 or up. He's not taking the Robbie Ray extension or the Robbie Ray contract or the Luis Castillo contract. He's younger, and there's just so much money on the table for starting pitchers that I think, you're talking between 150 to 170 million as a starting point for him. And with Wu, because he's younger, the injury history, less time, it just still starts in the hundreds. It doesn't start at, 90. I don't think that you can go that way. So, I mean, I think that's where they're at is you have to have bigger numbers. And I don't know if the Mariners are comfortable doing that or not. That's one thing. It's one thing to extend a position player because the value's there and you're going to get pitchers get hurt. It's a lot more tricky with pitchers, and these guys are older too. They're all college draft picks, so it's a little different than it is with Colt.
But you believe it would be, I guess Wu would be the wild card there above Kirby and certainly Bryce Miller, who's dealt with his injuries. You believe he'd be the obvious second one?
Yeah, I mean, Bryce, you could probably sign him to a deal, but, why would you right now until he proves something more?
Right.
You can get him for far cheaper than the rest of the guys. I think with Wu, he's a West Coast guy, likes it here, loves the area. I think it's close to home. I think that works for him a lot more than maybe somebody like George, who's, his fiance lives in St. Petersburg, and he's from New York. So it's the East Coast thing is a little more pronounced for George or even for Logan than I think it is for Wu. And like I said, Bryce, you give him enough money to buy his ranch in Texas, he'd sign it in a second.
Ryan, this question always kind of gets thrown out there, and with Emerson Hancock being so dominant in his first start, when Bryce Miller comes back, what do you see happening? Is it a 6-man? Is it Hancock goes to the bullpen? Does he get sent down to AAA? What do you think happens when Bryce Miller does return?
Well, I mean, it's the big hypothetical. It's if he's throwing well, what do you do? Well, who knows? Baseball figures itself out. Usually something happens or somebody's underperforming or somebody gets hurt, and usually that's the decision you have to make. If not, Bryce Miller had the spot in the rotation, and they would likely, let him back into the rotation. But I guess if Emerson Hancock's 4-0 and got a 2.0 ERA, then they would have to readjust. I don't think they would go to a 6-man rotation because it just puts a lot of burden on the other relievers. The one thing being, though, is that and the other thing is they don't have a lot of optionable relievers. They have Cole Wilcox added up now. He has options, so they can make it work. But when you're carrying 6 guys, it just diminishes your bullpen by an arm, and they're not very flexible in bouncing guys back and forth from Tacoma and bringing in fresh arms to accommodate 6-man rotation. So, I mean, I guess if Emerson is that good, then Bryce could end up, going to Tacoma and pitching. But I don't think we're going to see him until May. So I don't, there's a lot can happen until then.
Ryan, as always, great stuff, my friend. We appreciate it. Stay warm in there, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
There you go.
Thanks,
There's Ryan Divish of the Seattle Times. If you guys didn't catch all of that conversation, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Meanwhile, we'll dive more into the possible lineup options for the Mariners and what happens next with Colt Emerson. That's coming your way next with Wyman and Bob. It is Seattle Sports on 710.
How do you like that?
2-1 to Cal. Swinging a shot over the bag at first. Fair ball. The Mariners win it. Here comes Leo Rivas to score. Cal Raleigh with a walk-off single.
After watching walking it off in the opener. The Mariners send Logan Gilbert to the mound tonight in Game 2. Mariners-Yankees. First pitch 6:40, pregame at 5:30. You only need one app to get every Mariners game live for free. The Seattle Sports app.
Are you somebody that needs a pair of readers with you at all times, whether you're reading a menu in a restaurant, you're trying to read labels in a store, or just looking at your phone, looking at text? That was me. I was tired of the readers having to be there because when they weren't, it was a big problem. So I took steps to fix that whole thing. Look, when you add King LASIK and K2 Vision, you get freedom vision for every stage of life. LASIK and Evo ICL from King LASIK gives you freedom from glasses and contacts. Refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE, which is the procedure I had, adds extra freedom from readers and cataracts. So again, if you want to make a great decision, you're somebody struggling with vision and always need a pair of readers, it's one of the best decisions I've ever made was going to K2 Vision for refractive lens exchange. And with over 400,000 procedures done, Dr. Kopstein and Dr. King are two of the most experienced vision correction surgeons in America. So whether it's LASIK, Evo ICL, or RLE, trust the most experienced team of doctors out there with all of the data to recommend the very best procedure for you. Schedule your free Zoom consultation today. Just go to K2VisionRLE.com. King LASIK and K2 Vision RLE. No glasses, contacts, readers, or cataracts. That's K2VisionRLE.com.
Discover the ultimate diamond buying experience. Unparalleled quality at unbeatable prices.
Hi, I'm Diamond Dave of Cantor Diamond. At our by appointment office, you'll receive truly personalized one-on-one service to your needs.
No high overhead of standalone stores or mall hours to pay for. We're direct diamond importers designing and manufacturing in-house, eliminating all the middlemen.
Stop overpaying at retail and enjoy serious savings on quality diamonds.
From the first consult to the final reveal, we guide you through every step, ensuring you get your dream diamond ring, necklace, or earrings without compromise.
Romantic proposals, anniversary splurges, or just because. Indulge in diamonds for less.
Call today for your private appointment for a dazzling diamond.
Call Diamond Dave at 253-272-7007. That's 253-272-7007. Or follow them on Instagram at Cantor Diamond. That's at KANTOR Diamond.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these 3 books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Do you like helping others? Become a Sheba volunteer. In Pierce County, join the hundreds of volunteers across Washington state who help over 90,000 people each year with their Medicare options and questions. You don't have to know Medicare. We'll teach you. And if you're bilingual, even better. For more information and how to apply, call Sheba at 1-800-562-6900 or go to insurance.wa.gov.
Sponsored by the Office of the Insurance Commissioner and aired by the Washington State Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Mariners, Yankees. Tonight at T-Mobile. First pitch at 6:40, 5:30 pregame. Hear every pitch live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Progressive knows you think the grass is always greener, like maybe you ride a motorcycle. But today, it's raining. So you wish you had an RV, but if you did, you'd have to listen to some guy parked next to it at a campsite plays acoustic guitar. Now, before you start wishing you had a boat, remember, your brother-in-law would invite himself every weekend.
Permission to come aboard, Captain?
But one thing that is greener is the money you could save when you bundle your RV, boat, or motorcycle with your home or auto with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Gold demand is skyrocketing to record highs. As more Americans rush to preserve their savings, will there be enough gold? I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe physical gold is the only way to truly protect your 401k or IRA savings. Gold offers tangible security that can't be tracked, stolen, or inflated. That's why I strongly advocate for gold IRAs. To learn more, text the word SECURE to 989898 now. Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust, and their thousands of great reviews prove I'm not alone. So don't wait another second. Protect your retirement savings today and see how easy it is to move your IRA or 401k into physical precious metals. Text SECURE to the number 989898 for your free gold IRA info kit. Again, SECURE to 989898.
Message and data rates may apply.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Our thanks once again to Ryan Divish of the Seattle Times, who joined us in the previous segment. If you guys missed that conversation, it will be available on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. By the way, you're still getting people challenging you, Lefko, on the geography snafu from earlier, the debate.
No, I think it died out. Now people tuning in miss the fact that, we are correct about geography and other people aren't. Yeah.
Oh, good stuff. Meanwhile, we've been talking about the big news surrounding the Mariners, not just that they beat the Yankees last night and a tremendous performance by Luis Castillo and the bullpen and everybody else, but the big news is the Mariners and Colt Emerson have agreed to an 8-year, $95 million contract extension, largest contract in MLB history for a player with zero service time.
Mm-hmm.
He's 20 years old. It includes a 9th-year team option, as well as a full no-trade clause, and can reach a maximum value of $130 million. And he'll be 28 going on 20, depending on if they exercise that 9th-year option, but more around 28, 29 years old when it expires, still in his athletic prime. And if he's a superstar, God knows what the contract numbers are going to look like then for a premier shortstop 8-9 years from now.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine, because I don't think there's going to be a salary cap. I don't think that's going to be a thing. So assuming that's the case, his potential earning power then is, I don't even know. I don't have a guess. Is he 50 million a year?
Breaks the bank, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. What, Bichette's at 40 right now?
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward almost a decade. It's going to be 65. So he's in line to make even more. Well, I mean, right now this is generational wealth, but he's in line to make a ton more. So a great deal for both sides. But as far as getting him up here, I'm not in a hurry. I'd love to see him just go down there and mash at the AAA level. I think through 3 games, he's like 5 of 14. Yeah, 5 for 14 with a home run after his first 3 games. Okay, we'll see what he does there. But my hope is that JP comes up and plays well to where it's not a debate. I don't want it to be, you got to bring Emerson up. You got to, because that represents a problem at short. That means JP's not playing well defensively or offensively, or people are looking at it as, there's a problem here. I'm hoping, like the pitchers, like we talked about with Sloan and Anderson. I don't want to see him this year. I'm excited.
The pitchers or Colt Emerson?
Well, I'm putting all 3 of them.
You don't want to see Colt Emerson at all this year?
I'd rather not, because that tells me that JP's not performing and you're not rushing. I don't want him rushed up. I think a season there helps him more than it hurts him. When we talked to Divish, he was right. If he gets called up, you want to see him playing 5 days a week. You don't want to see him play one day here, one day there, sitting on the bench. It's much more beneficial for him to get the turns at AAA. But to me, it just represents something going wrong at the big league level, to where you feel pressured to bring him up. We got to find an answer.
I think the confidence in him in doing this deal now is the belief that he will be good enough now, this year, to come up. So whether that's a month or in a couple weeks, it would be tough to have this deal signed and then not bring him up the entirety of this year. So if he's everything that the Mariners believe in and all of baseball believes in, it's going to happen. And you're just kind of pushing the talent level upwards. Competition and breeds more success. But I'm fascinated to know where he does play if it's this year, because I think that's a far cry to say, no, he's not coming up this year. I don't think it'll be based solely on J.P. Crawford's production. It's what you guys were saying. If he's doing everything he needs to, you're just kind of wasting time down there in AAA. You bring him up. He's ready to go. It was like Cole Young. He was ready last year, so they thought, and they brought him up, and, it didn't work right away. But with Colt Emerson, if he comes up, there's that question of, all right, third, short, what might you do with him? It is interesting that you and Ryan both mentioned the kind of awkward dynamic of today, literally on the day that this news is announced, J.P. Crawford is in Tacoma doing a rehab start, and the lineup is out. J.P. Crawford's batting second, playing shortstop. Colt Emerson playing third, batting third. So he's played third and certainly can play it in the minors. Does that translate apples to apples at the big league level? I mean, tough to tell, but that becomes more of that, all right, if you need another option at third besides Brendan Donovan, that might be where Colt Emerson can kind of sneak up this year and make an impact if you're not displacing J.P. Crawford. Yeah, I'm just curious if Cole Young presumably is playing well, right? J.P.'s playing well, and Donovan's playing well. Where does he come in? Where does he get his playing time? I would put Cole Young at DH, and I would put Colt Emerson at third, J.P. Crawford at short, Brendan Donovan at second. And as Divish kind of said, baseball has a way of fixing itself out. So this is not, the hard and fast roster. Maybe then Donovan, as you cycle through, when Donovan's a day off, Cole Young's back at second. And then Colt Emerson gets that day off after 5 days of playing. And then you have Donovan back at third and Cole Young back at second. So it's a puzzle. It's definitely a process to kind of sort through. But it's a great problem to have, because then if you're pushing out someone like Dominic Canzone, okay, well, that's tough. But you might have redundancy with all the left-handed bats and all these guys who are part of your future, more so than if we're going to be callous and say, look, we know J.P. Crawford's not part of the long-term future. Maybe Dominic Canzone is not part of the long-term future as much as a Cole Young or Colt Emerson. So if it comes to that and you need to get Cole Young at bats because he's still doing well, that's perhaps a solution that you could throw in there. Yeah, I don't. In the hypothetical, Cole Young's playing well. He's considered your future at second base. I don't want to move him out of that spot. And I love Donovan, and I know that's been his primary position, but I wouldn't move Cole Young to put Donovan at second if Cole Young is playing well and he's looked at as the future at that spot. Donovan would be the odd man out in terms of position. Certainly, you keep him in the lineup. I mean, you see what he's doing with the bat, and hopefully that'll continue. So then Donovan's your DH. But either way, you can get those four. Yeah, it just presents it's an interesting scenario only because in that hypothetical, we're talking about everybody playing well, even JP. Now, if JP struggles, it becomes an obvious. All right, if he's struggling, whether it's at the plate, in the field, whatever's going on, all right, Colt Emerson's your shortstop because that's who he's going to be moving forward. But if JP's playing to his capabilities, you're not motivated to bring up Colt and have him sit because then he's platooning somewhere, presuming the other two are playing well. Your third baseman and second baseman are playing well. I just don't. I feel like it's more of a benefit for him in AAA to get regular turns. Somebody gets hurt or they start to fail. Okay, then. But if everybody's playing well, what's the motivation other than he's the future? We signed this big deal because he's the future and he's playing well enough to be called up, and then he gets the consistent at bats like Cole Young does. Because both of these two are consistent parts of your future, more so than J.P. Crawford. So you have to make the decision. J.P. Crawford playing well, is it worth it short term to keep him there just for this season? I think it's, we've come to the consensus he's not here past this year. There's not a spot for him. We were saying that before this deal was announced, that JP's in his last year with the Mariners, barring some alternative where he just doesn't have a market out there and they bring him back on a cheap signing, and he's a utility guy or he's a guy that comes off the bench, which I don't see happening. So if Colt Emerson is doing what people expect him to do, and it's kind of counterproductive to just keep him down in AAA, he then comes up. And if he continues to play well, at some point that question is, all right, is J.P. Crawford now relegated to, well, we're going to go forward with the future and someone who's giving us enough presence in the lineup? The other issue is obviously the clubhouse presence. J.P. Crawford is a well-respected veteran core part of this leadership group. So that becomes another issue as well that you also kind of have to deal with now. because he's seeing this news this morning. He's dealing with that. I'm sure there's some discussions that took place, some phone calls down to J.P. Crawford, so I don't know what those conversations were. But if it gets to the point where the belief in Colt Emerson in this contract shows up on the field, that's going to be a tough and good problem to have for this team.
Yeah, and this is all contingent on JP playing well, creating this kind of puzzle like, all right, well, what do you do? Do you rush? Do you bring this kid up even though you don't really have a spot? To me, the ultimate goal for him is to get regular turns, whether it's at the big league level or at AAA. You just don't want him sitting. So having a spot for him is the key here. And in this scenario, JP's playing well. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he scuffles, maybe he struggles, maybe age gets to him. Again, I think age has already gotten to him to a bit, and I know for some reason that agitates some people. That's just the reality. It's going to happen to all these players. Eventually, you're going to see their game diminish. That's what happens. And JP, I think his range is diminished, and the numbers tell you that. But I'm rooting for him. I want him to come up and play well, but I don't know if he will. And if he doesn't, then it makes it a whole lot easier in terms of, if Colt is down there raking. Now, if he's down there and he's just he's a 240 hitter at AAA, all right, then you don't have that motivation. If he's down there just crushing and JP scuffling, it makes it very easy. So the wild card is J.P. Crawford.
It puts more of a microscope on J.P. Crawford right now, immediately. Yeah. The rehab start tonight in Tacoma, the expected return to the lineup on Friday in Anaheim, and all of a sudden, there's a lot of scrutiny on him right away because of this contract that's looming behind him now in the minors.
Yeah, and like everybody else, it's going to take him a bit, presumably, to get up to speed. He hasn't played. He's just now getting back out there. How long is it going to take him to find his timing and feel, like he's got rhythm out there? So you can't. If he goes 0 for 4 in his first game, everybody's going to go, get Emerson up here. Told you he stinks. All right, you're going to have to, even if you're not a JP fan, you're going to have to exercise a little patience with the guy because he hasn't been playing. He's getting his first rehab start tonight. So we'll see how he does. Meanwhile, Mike McDonald made a surprising admission yesterday, and we're going to hear about that when we sweep the dial. Coming up with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
Brock and Salk.
Brock, you knew I was not going to get long before I was going to talk about Luke Riley.
Morning 6 to 10.
He hit the snot out of the ball all weekend long.
He was a 3.5 win player, correct, in 2024?
Him and Canzone and Cole Young, all those guys aren't being asked to carry them much weight. On a weekend where Julio and Cal and Naylor do next to nothing, those guys are perfectly capable of it. I think that's awesome.
Brock and Salk on the home of your American League West champion Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Free consultations, no-fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 877 Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
7 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Hey, Brock Ewert here for my friends at People Come First, or PCF Construction Group. Spring, well, that's the perfect time to start planning your dream deck. And right now, PCF is making it easier than ever to get you started with 50% off your custom professional design and architectural drawing package. What does it mean? Well, it means you can save over $9,000 on your project. And with 12 months of no interest, no payment financing, you can design your deck now and pay later. Most people who start with a design package end up with the outdoor space they've always dreamed of. and this offer is your first step. Don't wait until summer and wish you had started the process sooner. Start it now. Do what Molly and I did some years ago. Contact PCF Construction Group today. Get project ideas, browse photos, and find all the offer details at pcfgroup.com. Go see my friends at pcfgroup.com.
Making your outdoor space when people come first.
Your reputation matters. That's why so many landscape professionals choose Gravely. You can save up to 20% on Gravely commercial mowers during the Gravely Mow the Distance sales event starting April 9th. Visit your local Gravely dealer today.
Do you like helping others? Become a Shiva volunteer. In Skagit County, join the hundreds of volunteers across Washington State who help over 90,000 people each year with their Medicare options and questions. You don't have to know Medicare. We'll teach you. And if you're bilingual, even better. For more information and how to apply, call Shiva at 1-800-562-6900 or go to insurance.wa.gov.
Sponsored by the Office of the Insurance Commissioner and aired by the Washington State Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Mariners, Yankees. Tonight at T-Mobile. First pitch at 6:40, 5:30 pregame. Hear every pitch live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
30 years ago, Davis Law Group was founded to be the best law firm for our clients and our community. Our core values are to win, help, and serve. It means our success is defined by the difference we make in our clients' lives and the impact we can have in our community. Not by giant settlement checks or shiny offices. Our mission to lift up the vulnerable extends beyond the courtroom to our charity partners, promoting safety, uplifting students, accident victims, foster youth, and the elderly. If you've been injured and want better results for your claim and for all of Washington, call Davis Law Group today.
On top of home and auto, Progressive protects your boat, RV, and motorcycle so you can explore the unknown.
Actually, we just take the RV to the same campground every year.
Well, maybe you can catch your own dinner on your boat.
Oh, we can actually get pizza delivered there from this brick oven place we love.
Will you at least try a new topping?
Honestly, probably not. We kind of have a go-to order.
Fine. Just bundle home or auto insurance with your outdoor vehicles with Progressive and stay protected when you go, I guess, where you've gone before. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
There's nothing better than having a big fish on your line. Make this the year you take that unforgettable fishing trip to Queen Charlotte Lodge. Time is running out for summer bookings. Experience a luxury resort and amazing fishing with your buddies, family, father, or son. King salmon runs, halibut, and lingcod are always plentiful. Book your stay at fishqcl.com and use code ESPN. Experience fishing first class. Experience fishqcl.com.
Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
Yesterday at the NFL annual meetings, Mike McDonald was being interviewed by Kay Adams, and he explained to her that he finally, just 5 days ago, watched the game copy from the Super Bowl.
Because I'm weird, and I love the idea of how we played from first person watching the game, but when I watch it from the coach's perspective, I inevitably put my coach's hat on. I critique it probably too hard, so I'm actually thinking of the plays that maybe we could have played better, and what we want to get better at.
I'd like to hear that.
That was it. Yeah.
What are the plays what's going through your head right now?
Well, we could have taken the back to the flat a couple times, and then the 2 touchdown passes were kind of a bummer.
Oh, Coach, you're kind of a sick pup, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, unfortunately.
What made you finally turn it on 5 days ago?
Honestly, I was tired of watching college players, and I was like, maybe I'll just watch maybe it's time to watch the Super Bowl.
They're breaking down all this college film, getting ready for the draft, just tired of looking at the young guys make mistakes out there.
Probably not as good players. He wanted to be
obviously
reminded of his team. So
yeah, 5 days ago, huh? I love that because I'm weird. I love Mike McDonald. He is the. If you're a football nerd, that should be your role model because that's what he is, right? We talk about guys that love the game and baseball and the baseball nerd. He's an absolute football nerd, and it's absolutely endearing.
there was something, I want to try to find it. People have found this video of McDonald teaching his defensive system as he's kind of showed this from years ago. And he's probably a low position coach somewhere, maybe even just become a coordinator for the Ravens. But everyone goes back to that film like, yes, this is the teaching tape of an NFL defensive coach, and he's explaining all the terminology and how he positions players, and he's diagramming how each one's used, and it's like the Bible for young coaches. So yeah, he is just the perfect guy, and hopefully people get more of a side of his personality and insight on Hard Knocks coming up. And he's gotten more and more comfortable with the media. We heard that interview he did with those Barstool guys. He sounded very relaxed, very comfortable. We know he has to deal with Brock and Salk every week during the football season, so they probably softened him up a little bit as well. But yeah, that side of him is becoming well-rounded in addition to the film and defensive genius side.
Sweeping the dial.
Well, it's been the big storyline so far, the early part of this baseball season, the ABS challenge system. And Buster Olney was on ESPN Radio yesterday, kind of explaining his takeaways and the biggest thing he's been surprised about so far with ABS.
I think it's going pretty smoothly. And watching it play out in spring training, I think the players, first off, they like the fact that if there's egregious calls, they can have them overturned. Tarek Skubal said to me in spring training, I'm not going to challenge unless it's something right down the middle and it's obvious. And they like having that club in their bag, that you can get potentially crossroad decisions turned around. I did not anticipate the drama that you would have in the park. The other day, you mentioned the CB Buckner game. The way the crowd got into that, where Eugenio Suarez challenges on one call to extend an at-bat, and he's right. And the crowd roars. And then the next call, he challenges, and he's right again. The crowd was louder for that than any other time in that game. I think that everyone is kind of on board and understanding how this could help the product because you get important calls made correctly.
I'm surprised. He's surprised about the drama because we saw it even in spring training with those small crowds last year, not recently, but last year, where it was quick, it was immediate. They put it up on the big board, and you hear the crowd.
Yeah,
when it goes in favor of their team, go nuts. So the idea of that doing it in a game that actually means something that matters in a stadium full of people with the big league club there, yeah, it's huge, and I think it's about as close to a consensus as you can get. We've seen very few people come out and say, no, I don't like it. It's bad because of this, that, or the other. I've seen very little pushback on it at all. It's being universally embraced right now.
Yeah.
The fans love it.
I wonder if Buster's referring to, in spring training where the stakes weren't high, if maybe it's just like, oh, cool, like they were clapping because it's a fun part of a non-competitive game, where in spring you're more entertained by the weather and whatever else is going on. But yeah, the fact that it is a key strategic point where in the case of that Cincinnati game, the crowd went nuts because, well, it's kind of funny to show up CB Buckner, but also it could have leveraged the game there. I don't think it did. Ultimately, I don't remember. I think the Reds ended up winning that game, so it didn't really change anything. But in that Orioles-Twins game where Derek Shelton, their manager, was ejected, it did have the potential to drastically change that game because had that call stood that he was so furious about, would have been 2 on for the Twins, down by 2 in the 9th. Instead, there's 1 on and 2 outs instead of 2 on and 1 out, and they lost by 2. So I get that. But yeah, to have this late game do something where it could completely alter it is incredibly appealing, but also I wonder about the downside of it if you're going to have a game-ending overturn, which could take some drama out of it. It would be a little frustrating.
Is that a downside, though? You got to get
if it happens against your team.
Well, certainly it's a downside if it goes against your team, but ultimately, as baseball fans, you want the right call made, and I certainly don't want it to cost my team, but I don't want to be a hypocrite either and go, I love it when it's in favor of my team. When it's not in favor of my team, I think it stinks.
Yeah.
Sweeping the dial.
ESPN's NFL reporter Dan Graziano was on their ESPN morning show on Sportsmanlike on ESPN Radio, and he was breaking down, and we did just hear some things from Robert Goodell as well, that the NFL is fully prepared to use replacement refs this season.
The league is certainly playing some hardball here. There's no question about it. Talking about hiring and training replacement officials and starting to do that as early as May 1st because they remember 2012 and how things went so badly, and they feel like part of the reason was they didn't have enough time get the replacement officials ready. So you have an agreement now with the NFL Referees Association that expires May 31st. So you're 2 months out from that. The league is not happy with the way those negotiations are going, and if the league is talking about training replacement officials as early as May 1st, a month from tomorrow, then it certainly seems like they're serious about moving forward with the replacement officials this time.
I mean, he references the previous incarnation of this and how awful it was, how poorly received it was, and it was the impetus for what took place here in Seattle was the impetus for, all right, we've got to get this ironed out. I don't know how far apart they are. I don't even really know what's being demanded, requested versus what's being offered. I haven't seen any specifics to this point.
Well, not specific, but Roger Goodell, literally today, he was giving his State of the Union. This was an hour ago. He said, on labor talks with officials, quote, the negotiations haven't progressed the way we hoped from a timing standpoint. And then they are kind of diving into the impact of what that on-field assist will be like to correct blatant and egregious calls. The on-field officials be instructed to announce when replay assist is being used on something that then might get changed. If they've made a call that apparently was quite wrong, or if they missed a call, they then have to come on and say, replay assist is going to, take a look and overturn our mistake.
It just feels bad.
Yeah.
I get that they have to prepare for worst case scenario. You can't be like, well, we thought we were going to get a deal worked out. Now we got no officials. You're not going to cancel the season. So this is the next step, I guess. So it's good that they're getting ahead of it and trying to train these guys to be better than they were the last time, which doesn't seem like it's setting the bar very high. But man, I'd love to know how close or how far apart they are. Like what is it specifically? Because all the stories I've read have not detailed specifically what is being requested by the umpires union versus what is the league offering.
I think it's a full-time sticking point. Salary-wise, sure, I don't know, but they want full-time with benefits, and the league is saying no. So that's got to be the first hurdle, or some agreement, or some caveat.
Right, but I'm wondering what the league's counter proposal has been. Like, all right, we're not going to give you benefits, but we're going to. I mean, it seems weird that an entity like the NFL that is making billions every year is going to balk at. No, we're not giving you health insurance, or we're not giving you. I don't. That's why I want to see the specifics, because it does on the surface. You want to really? You're a money machine, and this is a sticking point for you. You'd rather go with replacement officials and cost yourselves a level of credibility. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about some of that. We'll talk about ABS. We'll talk about the tournament, everything going on in the world of sports with a man who's got an eye on all of it. El Hombre. Michael Bradley is going to join us next. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Brock and Salk.
Brock, you knew I was not going to get long before I was going to talk about Will Bradley.
Morning 6 to 10.
He hit the snot out of the ball all weekend long.
He was a 3.5 win player, correct, in 2024?
Him and Canzone and Cole Young, like all those guys aren't being asked to carry them much weight. On a weekend where Julio and Cal and Naylor do next to nothing, those guys are perfectly capable of it. I think that's awesome.
Brock and Salk on the home of your American League West champion Mariners, Seattle Sports.
If you don't care about saving 50% off your wireless bill for the same 5G coverage the big guys are charging a fortune for, maybe you care about keeping jobs in America. Pure Talk does. They've pledged to run their entire operation from this country, including all their customer service. Or maybe you care about our nation's veterans. Pure Talk does. They've donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to America's Warrior Partnership, a fantastic organization working hard to prevent veteran suicide. Or maybe you care about closing America's skills gap. Pure Talk does. They're a proud supporter of MicroWorks. They're helping my foundation train the next generation of skilled workers. Don't get me wrong. Saving money's great, and you'll save plenty with Pure Talk. But if you want to be in business with people who share your values, dial pound 250. Say micro, and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Olympic Hot Tub has terrific ways to achieve total wellness at home. Saltwater hot tubs, swim spas, saunas, and cold plunges, all waiting for you. See our current specials with exciting savings at olympichottub.com. Better you, better life.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound.
Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
How was your break?
It was great until I stopped for gas. Prices have gone up almost $1 with no end in sight. I might have to start watching how much I drive.
That's exactly why I use Upside. I never pay full price for gas with the free Upside app.
Upside?
Yes, Upside. It's the free app that gives you cash back just for buying the gas you're already buying. So even with the rising gas prices, I'll never have to limit how much I drive.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Just last year, I made over $200 with the Upside app.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app right now.
Download the free Upside app to earn cash back on the gas you're already buying. Use promo code THRIVE25 for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code THRIVE25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first fill-up. That's THRIVE25.
Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Xfinity Tech Support, Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. No!
Wow.
Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, the combination of reliable Wi-Fi and 5G makes it so that you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still, you're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026. Taxes, fees, extra.
Hey, Eastside Mariners fans. Have you heard? The Cross Lake Light Rail is now open. Celebrate with a traffic-free trip to see the Mariners take on Aaron Judge and the Yankees for marquee matchups today through Wednesday, including the first midweek matinee of the season. Your defending AL West champs are back in action, and with 10 stations throughout Redmond and Bellevue, it's never been easier to catch a game at the best ballpark in baseball. See the full schedule and get your tickets at mariners.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
That's a matchup of opening day starters tonight. Logan Gilbert on the hill for the Mariners. Max Fried gets the ball for the Yankees. 6:40 first pitch. That means pregame coverage coming up right here at the bottom of the hour, 5:30 here on Seattle Sports. Meanwhile, J.P. Crawford begins a rehab appearance in Tacoma tonight. He's batting second and playing shortstop. And Colt Emerson, fresh off signing his 8-year, $95 million contract extension, is batting third and playing third.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
Yeah, you know what you can get me, Pee-wee?
What?
El hombre.
That was a catastrophe.
I know.
That's a new low.
Yeah.
Roz is better.
El hombre.
The natural meets Rudy meets... I don't even know how to describe it.
El hombre.
He's here, everybody. Every Tuesday at 5 o'clock, we bring him in on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. The one, the only El Hombre. Michael Bradley is here with us. How are you, man? Hello? Hello?
What's up?
How are you?
I'm good.
Did I catch you off guard there? What's going on?
No, I thought I'd play it cool. I'd say, sup. You know, what's up?
Sup.
Aren't you guys happy? Is Dave there?
No, it's his birthday.
He's on vacation.
What's he doing? Out boozing?
Probably.
He's out in California. You're not going to get that.
He's vertical.
I said that earlier. I go, Dave's out or over. I don't know. What did I say? Out
I think
over.
Over, actually. That was the big point of contention.
Just a throwaway. I'm like, yeah, Dave's over in California for the week, blah, blah, blah. And then immediately we got the geography experts texting and going, you idiot, it's not over, it's down. And then there was contention about which is further west and blah, blah. It took on a whole life, Michael, as you might imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, I could imagine. You folks, there's more important stuff out there, okay? So stop.
Oh, it beyond any Mariner topic, Seahawk topic, it just took fire on the text line. It just is amazing what resonates with people. But anyway, let's move on from that and talk about, I want to get your take on the idea of replacement refs. It feels like, or it doesn't feel like, it's being stated that the two sides are far apart. First of all, have you seen specifics about what's being requested from the umpire or the officials union versus what's being offered from the league? Because I don't really.
No, there's a league-wide blackout. The league has told everybody that they're not allowed to talk about it. And I was reading something on the Four Letter Network's website that somebody who's got a lot of contacts is at the spring meetings, is being told by everybody he talks to on or off the record, no shot. So I don't know what's being offered. I'm sure that the percentage of earnings. One thing I did see was the NFL offered to raise their salaries by 6.2%. The referees wanted 10%, and then there's some pool of revenue that they want part of. It doesn't seem like they're that far apart. And the NFL is really playing dangerously here because two things. A, the integrity of the game. These replacement umps are going to stink. There's no question about it. And the players won't respect them, either with coaches. And secondly, now that they've brought in these new plans that they're going to have where there's more buy-in from New York in terms of overruling and judging what was right or wrong in terms of calls, we can end up with 4.5-hour games because everything's going to be reviewed.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like either it's a great bluff, and maybe it is right now, but it feels like they're fully preparing to do this season. And, Dave and Bob always throw out here, is there anything that could kind of knock the NFL off its pedestal? Is this beloved sport? Could a whole season of replacement refs be something that kind of undermines the confidence that people have in the league?
There's no question about it. I mean, a few games they can withstand because then here comes the real guys and everything's fine. The referees aren't stupid. This would actually engender a little bit of support for them among fans if they sat out a couple of weeks and then came back. Everybody was saying, thank goodness we've got the varsity back here. But, this is what you do. The season doesn't start now for 5 months. So it's not like it has to happen today. And it doesn't even have to happen during exhibition games, right? But so you hire the umps. You've got them ready to go. You really want to anger the umpires union? Start training them. Start letting them, show up at scrimmages and things like that in training camp. It's a negotiating ploy. You want 10%? Okay, we're going to get down to 8.
Yeah, it's just I'm not – I get it that you don't want to just cave and go, okay, whatever you want, here it is. You can have it. You got to negotiate. But the idea that the NFL would allow money to be the determining factor as to whether they're going to have the best of the best available at their disposal in a league that generates billions and billions of dollars every year, and I don't know what we're talking about in totality with the officials and what they would reap from this, but would it even make a dent? Would they even notice it in their bottom line? It just feels like it's a principle thing for them, and it's going to cost, the way the game is viewed, the way the game, the perception of the game.
I don't think it matters the bottom. It will matter on the bottom line at all. Where it will matter is the next time they have to have a labor negotiation with the players. If they are viewed as weak with the officials, then it's possible that the players could think we can take advantage of them. Plus, and you hate to say it, these guys got rich because they love money more than anything else in the world. You don't become a billionaire if it's not the most important thing in your life. You can talk all you want. You can have Jerry Jones go on Landman and sit in front of John Hamm when he's dying and say, hey, best thing ever happened to me was when I started working with my children. I brought them into everything I do. No, the best thing that happened to you is when you turned another billion over.
Yeah.
That's where you're the happiest. So these guys aren't going to say, well, it's a rounding error, or it's oh, you've got to be kidding me. Okay, never mind. Sorry, I'm watching the Phillies. They might actually win a game, and it looked like – anyway.
They're up 3-1, man.
Yeah, well, the guy just hit a long fly that was about a foot from going out.
Oh, he's ahead.
Tying the game.
Okay.
They got a rookie pitcher throwing tonight. He went 5 1/3, struck out 8, looked great, shut out 5 1/3 shutout innings, and now you're going to pee all over it. So let's hope that doesn't happen. But again, these guys are not going to say, "Oh, it's just a little bit of money." To them, everything's a lot of money.
Well, Michael, speaking of officials in another sport, we've seen ABS have wildly successful reviews when it comes to some ballparks, and we saw the Yankees go 5 for 5 here last night in their challenges. How do you feel about what you've seen so far from ABS in a regular season?
I think it's working well. It's quick. We're getting it right. My only problem is when I see ABS, I look in the mirror to see how my stomach looks because I think it's ass. So, And those women are still coming by to do their laundry on them, so it's looking good. I think you're going to see some teams benefit from it greatly. Like tonight, the Nationals blew their challenges in like the second inning. The Phillies have a veteran catcher in JT Realmuto who's very good at this. So some teams will know when to use it. They'll know how to use it.
How it develops in the way of strategy, and how many managers are going to have an absolute plan. Like, you don't make a call unless it's this situation with a runner on third and we're down by a run and it's this deep into the whatever. Or if it's just managers saying, you know what, I'll let you guys make whatever call you feel you want to make, but you better be right, because then the green light goes away.
And here's the thing you got to remember. A called third strike that is missed in the third inning could lead to 8 to 10 more pitches thrown by a starter in that inning and take away an inning from him later on. So if you get a batter out, it's the third out, and it looks like it doesn't – why does it matter? There's nobody on. You're leading by 2 runs, blah, blah, blah. Well, there's a lot more than just that situation. It's the long game. We count every single pitch that a pitcher throws now. Some of these guys are on 80 to 90 pitch counts right now because it's early, it's cold. People don't want to have the managers don't want to waste an inning, go into the bullpen again. So getting that third strike for the third out of an inning in that situation could save a lot of pitches and save an inning, could save a relief pitcher, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it's more than just that one moment.
Hey, Michael, something that we've all been dealing with in the early part of the season is the fact that, well, baseball's kind of everywhere now. It's tough to track down. Netflix that had the season opener. The Mariners are just on Peacock. They're on Apple TV as well. There's a lot of fan grumbling. Is this just, all right, fans getting used to something new, or is it something you think that will cause baseball to lose some fans if it continues to be, so segmented in how you can find games, where it might be 7 to 10 different platforms through the course of a season?
Keep in mind who the average viewer is of Major League Baseball right now. He's not 28, okay? He's not 34. He's 55, 56. And a lot of those folks are saying, look, I understand that streaming is where all the good products are right now. Let's face it, I don't watch a single thing on network television except sporting events. Nothing. And I don't watch a whole lot of shows on cable either. But I sure as heck am watching stuff on Netflix and Amazon Prime and Peacock and Hulu and Apple TV Plus. So you got to have it if you want to be entertained these days. But at the same time, you start to fragment your viewership, because I may have Netflix but not Hulu. Somebody may have Apple TV but may not have Hulu. So there's where you run into trouble with the demographic, with people not having every single streaming platform, or have access to it by stealing it from in-laws or children or whatever. I'm not saying anything, but at the same time, Major League Baseball everybody's trying it out. How far can we go? Because if Netflix is going to say we'll pay you $100 million for one game in the NFL, why in the heck wouldn't you put it on Netflix?
Yeah, my biggest complaint is just the inability to channel surf. I'm so conditioned that when the commercial comes on, I hit the guide button or the back button, which immediately takes me out of the app. I got to sign back in or reconnect. It just that part of it stinks. It's just not better. It's not more efficient. It's not faster. So that's what I don't. The streaming I can live with, but the idea that you're sort of locked into that spot, the idea of, especially if there's multiple games going on, you want to flip, let me see what's going on in this game, this commercial, let me flip over to this one, and you're like, damn it, I forgot I was in an app, and now I got to log back in. It just stinks.
Commercial, you have more patience than I do. I'm going between pitches. I'm going in between hitters. But in some ways, let's talk to the folks who are older, right? This is almost prehistoric. Back in the old days, you had to get up and go and walk over to the television set and change the set. Now the channel, right? Yeah. Now you have to get out of Netflix to go into Apple TV Plus or go out of that to get back to cable to watch ESPN. I was with my sons, okay, young people who are supposed to know what's going on. They have YouTube TV plus all these streaming services at their house. One of them didn't even know how to go back and forth between things. Okay? And these are the ones who are supposed to know about this stuff. How are the rest of us supposed to do this?
Is your TV downstairs you have to change manually, right? You have to go up and actually touch the TV?
No. In order to get to the streaming stuff, because we got Amazon Fire Stick.
No. Your small TV you always talk about. Yeah, you got to change that with the knob.
Sitting next to me on the desk. That's the one from 1989. No, I got a remote for that.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a knob.
Fiddling with the rabbit ears.
It's color too. I thought it was black and white with some foil on top of it. I thought it was one of those.
No. This is nice. It weighs 50 pounds, but it's really cool. Hey, I'm watching it right now in living color. It was funny because my son was here for the NCAA tournament in Wisconsin where he went to school, was playing, and I said, "Come on in and watch the end of the game." He goes, "On that set, will I be able to see it? Is it going to be blurry?" I said, "No, it's going to look sharp as heck."
Hey, before we get to the tournament, I want to get a thought from you quickly on Tiger Woods, who once again finds himself in the headlines for the wrong reasons off the course. He got into another car accident. It's interesting because earlier in the day today, it came out that he was saying, "Hey, I was, looking at my phone and I was trying to adjust my radio, change the station or something, and that's why I didn't see the car in front of me." And then, like an hour and a half later or 2 hours later, he releases a statement that I'm stepping away for a period of time to seek treatment and focus on my health. I know and understand the seriousness of the situation I find myself in today, and basically acknowledging there's something other than looking at his phone and changing the radio station that led to what we saw from him.
Well, that was also because the police report said that they found 2 oxycodone tablets in his pocket.
Yep.
His pupils were dilated, which is an indication of narcotic analgesic or whatever it is. That he was slurring his speech when they were interviewing him, and he was sweating profusely. So it's kind of like, I was looking at my phone. We got all this, Tiger. I'm taking some time away. Now, the memes are funny. It is easy pickings for us to make fun of him. This is a guy who's got a problem. He's been enabled for decades to do whatever he wants. He's got nobody in his life right now who will say to him, "Hey, Tiger, knock it off." He's in a ton of pain. I mean, his leg is mangled. His back is a mess. Who knows what his skeletal system has been undergoing because of the I will say this, I have no proof, but was he taking any performance-enhancing chemicals throughout his career? So this is a guy who's in pain. So I understand that he's going to need some painkillers. There are things that are a little better for you than oxycodone, especially when you're going to get behind the wheel of a car. But, hey, dude, take $250,000 a year, $250,000, hire a guy. You're on call to me 24/7. If it's 4 a.m. and I'm at Applebee's and I'm really enjoying my Sunday and I want to go home, you're coming to pick me up and take me home. So that I don't have to worry about this ever again. He should never be behind the wheel of a car again.
Yeah. Oh. All right. Well, I guess we will transition to the NCAA tournament now. I didn't know how to do the smoothest segue. But, Michael, when we talked to you a few weeks ago, Tiger Woods and terrible, sad news, and then joy in the NCAA tournament. But, Michael, when we talked to you a few weeks ago, you were maybe a little lukewarm on Michigan after watching them just bludgeon through the competition so far. How do you feel about this upcoming game against Arizona?
I can't be objective about them right now. I think they lose. Yeah, and it's just because – and look, I think that if I looked at these teams, Team A, Team B, I think that Arizona is as big as Michigan. So it's not going to be a situation where Mara or Morez Johnson or Lendenborg is going to be able to beat them up. Plus, they've got two guards in Berries and Jaden Bradley who are very good also. So this is a team that matches up really well. I think it comes down to who shoots the ball better and foul trouble. If whatever team avoids its key players going out and whatever team shoots better from three-point range is going to win this game.
I thought of you when UConn sank that long-distance three-pointer. I thought he's doing cartwheels right now, watching Duke just eat it in the most dramatic. I mean, blowing a 19-point lead, and then at the end of the game, they turned the ball over when they didn't even have to cross half court. They could have just held the ball, and they turned it over. I mean, you must have been just full of joy and delight.
No, I don't like UConn either.
I know, but you've been much more vocal about your distaste for Duke.
That was while the rat was there.
Oh.
It's harder to hate them now, okay? Now that Krzyzewski, the most disingenuous person in sports, is gone, right? Shire's actually a nice guy. I've spoken to him a few times. It's hard to hate the guy. It's still Duke. I still don't like him. I'm not getting soft. Don't worry. But Danny Hurley's no cuddly bear either.
I was going to say, he's easier to hate.
Well, especially with his interaction with the ref, where he said, I thought he was going to chest bump me. You did? Really?
Well, the ref just got taken out of the Final Four. So I think.
Wait, say that again. What happened?
The ref who he was not assigned to the Final Four. I think he was going to go, but I think it seemed like they were too chummy and they were goofing around. I don't know. But look, UConn, that shot was astounding. It's going to go down as one of the top 10 buzzer beaters of all time. You know, we were talking last week about the St. John's kid, I think, who hit the shot, but this dwarfs that. I think that, you know, everybody's going to be focusing on Michigan, Arizona. UConn, Illinois is a hell of a game, especially if you have any Eastern European blood in your body. You're going to be a big Illinois fan. They got more Viches than anybody. So they are a tough team. They're a good team. Their only fault this year is they blew a lot of big leads. They would have been a higher seed if they had held on to some of the leads that they gave up. So all four teams in the Final Four are worthy, and it's going to be a fun Saturday.
And who's your ultimate winner?
I'll still go with Arizona. I mean, I had Duke originally. I had them playing Arizona in the final, and I'll go with Arizona now. I think even though the winner of the UConn-Illinois game is a worthy opponent to the winner of the Michigan-Arizona game, I still go with Arizona to win it all. Now, I will tell you this, and you will love this. A friend of mine's son-in-law is converting to Catholicism. The conversion generally goes on the Easter Vigil Mass on Saturday night, which takes 2.5 hours.
Oh.
He asked me to be his confirmation sponsor, which means I have to go to the Easter Vigil Mass. I will be sitting in a church listening to the longest Mass of the year while the Michigan game tips off.
Oh, my goodness.
So while you're watching, just imagine the frustration I'll be feeling because this thing goes on forever. And I think they do it on purpose.
Oh, man. You're a good friend. That's solid work.
What was I going to say to the kids? Can I let you know whether I'm going to do it if Michigan makes the Final Four?
Yeah.
Sorry, you're out of luck, pal.
He is El Hombre. Michael Bradley with us each and every week. You find him here every Tuesday at 5. You find him on Twitter at Daily Hombre. At Daily Hombre on Twitter. Michael, as always, we appreciate it. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next week.
So long, suckers.
There he goes, everybody.
I would just call in sick. I know you can't, but you can't miss that game.
That'd be funny if you prioritize that. Sorry, can't do it, guys. Michigan's playing. That's the best. That's the best. All right, that is going to do it for us. Want to thank our guests today, Brady Henderson, Ryan Divish, and El Hombre, Michael Bradley. If you guys missed any part of those conversations or any part of the show, head to the podcast page at seattlesports.com. Click the podcast tab. Scroll down to our picture. Click on that. It'll be right there waiting for you. Don't forget to click subscribe. You got the Mariners pregame show coming your way next. We'll talk to you tomorrow right here with Wyman and Bob.
How do you like that?
2-1 to Cal. Swinging a shot over the bag at first. Fair ball. The Mariners win it. Here comes Leo Rivas to score. Cal Raleigh with a walk-off single.
After walking it off in the opener, the Mariners send Logan Gilbert to the mound tonight in Game 2. Mariners-Yankees. First pitch 6:40, pregame at 5:30. You only need one app to get every Mariners game live for free. The Seattle Sports app.
Home is more than a place to live. It's where the best of life unfolds, where possibility sparks, where community grows, where lives take shape. At the Master Builders Association of King and Snohomish Counties, that belief drives the work our builders, remodelers, and tradespeople do every day. Because when we build more homes, we're building so much more than housing. We're making room for what matters most. Learn more at roomforwhatmatters.com.
Running a small business means juggling a lot. Your network has to handle it all. That's where a fiber-only provider falls short. You need a partner who gives you a greater advantage. Introducing the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A first-ever combination of the largest, fastest fiber-powered network, the most reliable Wi-Fi, gig speeds with equipment and security included, and a 5-year price lock. Plus, it's all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. The Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A new standard for small business with reliability, security, and savings in one. Switch today. Get started with a great offer as low as $60 a month. When you add it all up, no one does business like Comcast Business.
Offer ends 6/1/26. New customers only. Requires 300 megabits per second internet and security edge. 1-year agreement, eco-bill, and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Gold demand is skyrocketing to record highs. As more Americans rush to preserve their savings, will there be enough gold? I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe physical gold is the only way to truly protect your 401k or IRA savings. Gold offers tangible security that can't be tracked, stolen, or inflated. That's why I strongly advocate for gold IRAs. To learn more, text the word SECURE to 989898 now. Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust, and their thousands of great reviews prove I'm not alone. So don't wait another second. Protect your retirement savings today and see how easy it is to move your IRA or 401k into physical precious metals. Text SECURE to the number 989898 for your free gold IRA info kit. Again, SECURE to 989898.
Message and data rates may apply.
Do you like helping others? Become a Shiva volunteer in Whatcom County. Join the hundreds of volunteers across Washington state who help over 90,000 people each year with their Medicare options and questions. You don't have to know Medicare. We'll teach you. And if you're bilingual, even better. For more information and how to apply, call Shiva at 1-800-562-6900 or go to insurance.wa.gov.
Sponsored by the Office of the Insurance Commissioner and aired by the Washington State Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Mariners, Yankees. Tonight at T-Mobile. First pitch at 6:40, 5:30 pregame. Hear every pitch live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Meet Morgan Jones. Morgan is about to step into a world unknown to most, thanks to Progressive's Renters Insurance, a place of fresh linens and turn-down service. You see, Morgan temporarily vacated her apartment and has gone to a hotel because a pipe burst in her apartment. A pipe that made her sense of reality and apartment ceiling all come crashing down. Luckily, Morgan checked into Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers.
Taxes was waiting on the refund you needed yesterday.
All right, your car repair is going to run about $3,000.
Now Taxes is getting back on the road with TurboTax and Credit Karma, where you can get your refund up to 5 days faster and get personalized guidance to take every dollar further. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Deposit a federal refund into Credit Karma Money account and early submission of refund data by IRS required. Terms apply. Banking services provided by MVB Bank, Inc. Member FDIC. Credit Karma is not a bank.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Will?
When I was 50, my whole life fell apart. I lost my job. I lost my wife. I lost the house. I lost pretty much everything except for my life. When the IRS came calling, I just didn't have it in me. I felt like Wile E. Coyote, just waiting for that IRS anvil to drop.
Then Will found Tax Relief Advocates.
I heard their advertisement on the radio, I wrote down the number, and I made the call that changed everything. The IRS gave me a bill for $40,000. Tax Relief Advocates got that down to $3,200. I've paid 9 cents on the dollar. Now that's a great deal in anybody's book.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Will did and call TRA for a consultation.
But for me, the real win is I got my life back.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-488-2578. 800-488-2578.